Back at Tiger Stadium, here's Molly with Brian Kelly.
Coach, you won the coin toss and chose to receive. What does that say about the aggression that you want to see from your team tonight on offense?
Yeah, I just feel like the strength is our offensive line, and Garrett Nussmeier getting the ball in their hands right away, settle our football team in.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
So Caden Davis will kick off. Very strong leg in 2 years as the kickoff man for the Rebs, 84% touchback percentage. Xavion Thomas, a very dangerous return man for LSU. First-year transfer from Mississippi State, where he had both a kickoff return and a punt return for a touchdown. And we're underway, and this will be another touchback. Here comes Garrett Nussmeier, first-year starter, and he has been excellent. Has thrown for at least 300 in 4 of the 5 games this season.
Has oftentimes done it without much of a run game. They're hoping that the performance a couple weeks ago against South Alabama will create a little more balance in this offense, and they're going to need it because it's a really good pass rushing group from Ole Miss that leads the entire country in sacks.
With 24, LSU's given up just 2 sacks all season. Both were at South Carolina. Josh Williams opens at running back, and the 6th-year player drags tacklers with him for a gain of 7. John Saunders Jr., T.J. Daugherty in on the stop for Ole Miss.
Another reason why LSU might be leaning a little bit more on the run game. They're without some top weapons on offense. They're without C.J. Daniels, who's banged up. A couple other receivers that are also out. So trying to create a little more balance offensively.
Williams remains the running back. Nussmeier faked it to him, and his pass is high. It's caught on the far sideline. And are they going to call that a catch? The officials conferring it now, rule it incomplete. Tyron Lacey, the receiver, with Jaden Kennedy in coverage. And there are the receivers you were talking about. They've been without Chris Hilton Jr. all year, and that's big because he's the one guy who really is a deep threat.
And they're hoping that he'll be back here very, very soon. A guy with great top-end speed, but Parker hurt his elbow a couple weeks ago. But to be without Daniels, that reliable slot is a big absence.
There's 3rd down and 3. Nussmeier off the hands of their leading receiver, Mason Taylor, a terrific tight end. So they got 7 on 1st down and could not convert, and will punt with a 3-and-out.
That was a great start there by Ole Miss's defense. Nussmeier thinks he's going to have man-to-man in that coverage. They decide to pass it off at the last second, and it's well covered and defended.
Micah Davis back for the punt from Peyton Todd. They use 2 punters. Blake Oschendorf is their pooch punter, but this calls for a long one. And Todd delivered. And a fair catch at the 24-yard line by Davis. The 44-yard punt. Here comes Jackson Dart. Last year in that shootout in Oxford, 439 total yards and 5 touchdowns, for which he was responsible, as they put up 706 yards of offense against LSU, the most ever given up by a Tiger defense in a game. Henry Parrish Jr. is the running back, and he takes the toss from Dart and slips as he approached the line of scrimmage. No gain.
This is an offense that relies heavily on tempo. So getting off to a good start, being efficient on 1st down, and making 3rd down very manageable is a big part of who they are. Quick completion here to get it back to 3rd and short.
They have a flag before the snap. The crowd already a factor. Ken Williamson is the referee. They do like to go quickly. Fastest tempo in the SEC. They snap it about every 22 seconds. But this crowd might make that tough tonight. On second down and 15, Dart throwing deep and running open. Trey Harris could not hang on. He got behind the beleaguered LSU secondary, and they miss a chance for a huge play.
And play action forces Sage Ryan, the safety, to bite down. It was easy for Harris to get behind the defense, and I wonder, being limited in practice all week, few on repetitions, he drops it. It's right there. It's a perfect throw. Huge missed opportunity.
Big miss right out of the gate for Ole Miss. Dart doing the best he can to holler some instructions to the offensive line. Parrish to the 24. And each team with a 3 and out to open the game. And this is by far the most raucous atmosphere they've faced. South Carolina's loud, but Lane Kiffin said, we know it's going to be even that much tougher with this crowd tonight.
And it wasn't very loud given the way Ole Miss started as well. So not a great start for their offense to try to take the crowd out of it.
Well, they took the crowd out early in Columbia last week when they jumped out to a quick lead. The punt by Frazier Mazin and a fair catch by Xavion Thomas. This should have gone to the house. Lane Kiffin can't believe it. National title team in 2019, now with the undefeated Vikings. Odell Beckham Jr. now with the Miami Dolphins, among those here as part of the 100 years of Tiger Stadium celebration. The stadium opened in November of 1924. Caden Durham, the freshman, is in at running back. Garrett Nussmeier flings one deep and nowhere near his intended receiver Aaron Anderson, with John Saunders in coverage. Nussmeier 6'2", 200 pounds. Terrific genes. His dad, Doug, played in the National Football League and the CFL, was drafted by the New Orleans Saints. Been a coach for a long time, now the QB coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. As you might expect, Garrett lived all over, growing up 8 different places in the United States and also in Canada. Nussmeier, the play fake. Mason Taylor, the tight end, dropped for a loss. Well played by Trey Washington, the senior.
And this is what LSU has to avoid here tonight. They only have 5 third and long attempts all season up to this point. And this is where Ole Miss thrives. Excellent pass rushers, a lot of athleticism on the front. So would anticipate big number 2, Walter Nolan, working against DJ Chester, the center. That's a matchup that will be very difficult for LSU in the middle of their offensive line.
Chester is the only first-year starter on one of the best offensive lines in the country. They protect Nussmeier very well. It's caught, but the receiver was out of bounds. Lacey and came back in. A flag is thrown. He got the first down to midfield, but that one is almost certainly going to come back. After the officials on the near side conferred, they're handing off the verdict to Ken Williamson. There's an illegal touch against Kyron Lacey.
Is it? Very physical secondary. You can see Kyron Lacey obviously out of bounds and never established himself, was never forced out, so an obvious call for the official, and another punt for the LSU Tigers.
Well, Brian Kelly elected to receive the kickoff because the offense clearly is the stronger of the 2 main units, better than the defense. 2 3 and outs, and here's Peyton Todd again with Micah Davis back deep. Absolutely no breeze to speak of. Another good punt right over by the sideline and dropped, but Micah Davis is out of bounds, so it didn't matter. 43-yard punt. Well, it's a huge day in the SEC today. 2 more top 10 matchups next week. Starting at 3:30, we'll be in Knoxville for number 7 Alabama, number 8 Tennessee, and then it's number 5 Georgia, number 1 Texas at 7:30. Your alma mater just did hang on today against South Carolina.
Not good. Not good there in Tuscaloosa. South Carolina's a good team, a scrappy team, and Bama gave them way too much life down the stretch.
Here's Jackson Dart. They should have had an 81-yard touchdown on the first possession. Here's another receiver open down the field, and a diving catch made by Caden Lee. They'll mark it at the 44-yard line. 24-yard gain. They line up very quickly. Dart off his back foot into coverage and incomplete. Broken up by Zy Alexander, intended for Antoine Wells Jr., better known as Juice. And it's big for that secondary that Alexander is back.
And they'll take shots from any point on the field. It's well covered there by Alexander. Ball's thrown a little bit behind Wells. That ball's thrown way deep over the top with air. He might have a chance to run under it.
Alexander missed their last game with a concussion. Henry Parrish ahead for 3. Tackled by Greg Penn, one of the 2 linebackers. Whit Weeks is the other. The LSU defense without the preseason All-American Harold Perkins out for the year with a torn ACL suffered 3 weeks ago against UCLA, but they feel very comfortable with Penn and Weeks.
LSU here 3rd and 7 or so. This is where you see a lot of man coverage. So if I'm Jackson Dart, I'm trying to find my best matchup. Usually I can look in the direction of a back or a tight end.
Lee went in motion. And breaking free, Henry Parrish. Looked like they had him stacked up at the line of scrimmage, and he escaped to the LSU 36. A pickup of 17.
Great run there by Parrish, finding some space on the right side.
Here comes pressure, and Dart stepped away from it. But that's going to be a no-gain play. Maybe even a loss of a yard on the throw out wide to Parrish, who played 2 years at Ole Miss, transferred to Miami, spent 2 there, and now he's come back to Oxford.
He's been terrific. Really has grown as a player. Used to be an outside the tackle runner. Now he's downhill and has a lot of speed.
Ulysses Bentley has come in at running back. Now the number 2. Matt Jones has been dinged up. Good tackle out wide as Trey Harris was taken to the grass by Ashton Stamps, sophomore corner from Harvey, Louisiana.
Lane Kiffin extremely aggressive on 4th down. So here 3rd and 4, you can anticipate run. He runs his quarterback in this situation to make 4th down a little more manageable if you have proper numbers defensively.
They're in field goal range. Here's Bentley. Change of direction and a 1st down. He did not have a carry in their 2 SEC games this season prior to today. A home loss to Kentucky and that big win last week against the Gamecocks. They're at the 20-yard line and on the move. Caden Lee knocked down at the 16-yard line. You see how quickly he runs back. They never hand the ball to the officials out wide. They either run the ball to the middle of the field or throw it to the umpire's center judge. They want it spotted as quickly as they can. Design run for Dart, and he gets wrapped up by Braden Swinson, the senior defensive end who's having the best season of his career.
And what a revelation he's been. And these 2 defensive ends for LSU, they are the strength. Swinson mostly lined up on the left side, but he will move around. And then Savion Jones, really big for them to play at a high level tonight against a suspect offensive line.
Jones and Swinson have combined for 9.5 sacks. 10th play of the drive. 3rd and 6. From the Tigers 16.
Not afraid to run it here either.
Dart under duress, flag thrown. It's going to be a holding call against the right tackle, Micah Pettis. Dart weaves inside the 5. That's almost certainly coming back.
And he's just beat inside. You see Relaford swims up inside, and Pettis, who does get grabby, especially against athletic defensive ends, he gets beat, grabs his jersey, and it's an easy call for the official.
They've been a prolific offense throughout the 5 years of Lane Kiffin, but they've done it without a great offensive line. They think the O-line is better this year. When we asked Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator for LSU, about the Ole Miss offensive line, he said they're just okay, but they do a good job of scheming to help them. 3rd and 16. They gave Dart plenty of time. Harris tripped up at the 15-yard line. And what will Lane Kiffin do now on 4th down? He leans very heavily on the analytics, and the analytics say kick the field goal on 4th down and 5.
Wayne has to be frustrated because that drive had tremendous rhythm, and the holding call is really what just got them out of sorts. You have to stay on schedule, especially when the defense is on their heels.
Caden Davis, 9 out of 11 this year. 2nd year at Ole Miss after 3 at Texas A&M. 32-yard attempt. Charlie Pollock, the holder. That one is no good. Wide to the right. So they missed a chance for an 81-yard touchdown to start the game, and now they miss a chip shot field goal. Still no score. We're in the 1st quarter in Death Valley. Right now, more than midway through the 1st quarter, but it's still scoreless. The Tigers' 3rd possession from their own 20, looking for their first down. They have 6 yards of offense. Caden Durham, the freshman running back, gets the carry and lunges ahead for 1. Did well to get that. J.J. Pegues, who was a question mark entering the game, is out there, and he made the tackle. He's been bothered by a shoulder injury of late.
They have really improved in their front 7 defensively, not just along the defensive line with the addition of Pegues. Well, Pegues has been there, but Uman Mielen, Walter Nolan, but the linebackers have been outstanding as well.
Caden Durham's become their leading rusher, really helped them come back to win the game at South Carolina. Nussmeier has it deflected up in the air, and it is intercepted. Jamarius Brown brought it back inside the 15-yard line. So an awful start for Garrett Nussmeier in the LSU offense, and the Rebels take over the 13-yard line.
A lot of pressure off the right-hand side. Nussmeier tries to get rid of it, and it just hits right there and just pops right up in the air, hits his left tackle, Campbell. It's deflected again by Paul, and then right there in the awaiting arms of an Ole Miss defender. Just an incredible play and pass rush off the right-hand side, and a poor decision by Nussmeier by throwing it up, and very advantageous by Brown to reel it in.
5th interception of the year thrown by Nussmeier. I don't think Jamarius Brown, the true freshman from Moss Point, Mississippi, envisioned he'd have an interception tonight, but he has the 1st of his career. Dart, the toss to Parrish, and he gets hit hard, and that's not a surprise. It is Whit Weeks, the sophomore linebacker from Watkinsville, Georgia, and he can deliver a blow.
He's played outstanding football these last couple weeks. Looked like the first couple weeks playing a little bit apprehensive, but man, he has been going full speed the last few weeks, and the defense has benefited as a result.
Made a big hit at the goal line in the last game 2 weeks ago against South Alabama, knocked the helmet off the Jaguars quarterback Gio Lopez. Parrish straight ahead and driven back as he crossed the 10-yard line. Major Burns and Greg Penn there. 3rd down and 6.
You want to move the pocket here if you're offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss. Maybe roll your quarterback out. He's very mobile. Maybe get a quarterback run look.
Direct snap to Parrish. He faked the toss to Dart. And he's very near the first down. Don't think he quite got there. Jardin Gilbert in the secondary made the tackle, and no hesitation for Lane Kiffin. They're going for 4th down and 1. They snap it to Parrish again, and he gets stopped. Braden Swenson. It's been the offense that has carried the defense for most of the year for LSU. But it's the defense that comes up big. Back-to-back snaps to Parrish, and they were ready for that one. Still no score. 4:45 to go in the first quarter.
Go back to the 4th down stop and look at it via the AT&T connected cam. It's just a complete bust there by Ole Miss's right side of the offensive line. You have Micah Pettis, the right tackle, blocking down, which allows Swenson to work against a wide receiver, and he makes the play in the backfield. Just poor design and poor execution led to a critical stop there by LSU's defense.
Out of his own end zone, Nussmeier, and it's broken up, intended for Xavion Thomas. Jaden Kennedy there. He's been playing corner the last couple of weeks. They've struggled at the corner opposite Trey Amos. For the most part, Kennedy had been the nickel. He's moved out to a corner and has done well.
He played very well a couple weeks ago, but Kennedy, the biggest problem has been penalties. He has not been great with his technique. As a result, he's been flagged 6 times. So I expect LSU to take advantage of that today.
Nussmeier off to a 1-for-6 start. He had completed 70% of his passes coming in. Down the middle, that's on target. Kyron Lacey across the 30 and taken down by Lewis Moores, back in action after missing a couple of weeks due to injury. 26 yards and the first down of the night for the Tigers.
Nussmeier just so confident, fresh off a pick, dropping into his own end zone, and throws a strike over the middle.
Mason Taylor, the tight end, went in motion. Swing pass to Josh Williams. Still on his feet. Another first down. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Will it be a first down? They are moving the chains on the far side.
So far, LSU has not had a lot of success running it between the tackles. So they're going to try to test the edges, test the perimeter of this Ole Miss defense.
Great chances for Ole Miss to drop in what likely would have been an 81-yard touchdown on their opening possession. A missed 32-yard field goal. They took over the 13-yard line after an interception and were stopped on downs. LSU hasn't done anything until this possession. Williams remains the running back, gets the call out of the pistol, and he gets thrown down at the line of scrimmage. Taron Perkins made the tackle. He's been excellent and seen more action than perhaps they expected. Princely Uman-Mielen has been in and out of action. A fine defensive end. He was a question mark tonight, and I don't think we've seen him on the field.
They think he's going to primarily, hopefully, assuming he's good enough to go, be used mostly on 3rd down. He's really a great pass rusher, but he's really developed into a more well-rounded player, so hopefully he can get back out there in situational spots.
He has played a little bit tonight. The coaches did tell us it would be almost exclusively on 3rd down. Battling an ankle injury, Nussmeier runs out of time and throws it away with Taron Perkins nearby again.
This now twice for LSU's offense, 3rd and long situations, and you just can't put your team in a situation like this. Ole Miss is very aggressive. Pete Golding does a terrific job. And Joe Sloan normally, after an unsuccessful first down, is able to get them back to a 3rd and manageable. But now twice in just their first few possessions, they're way behind the sticks, which allows these pass rushers to really tee off.
First-year play caller Mike Denbrock went back to Notre Dame to be the offensive coordinator after he led that historic offense here at LSU last year. Nussmeier throws, and it's behind Lacey with Isaiah Hamilton in coverage. the senior transfer from the University of Houston in his hometown of Houston, Texas.
And they're really going to try to take advantage of the center, Chester. He's the guy that's least experienced, not crazy gifted, crazy talented. They're going to take the best pass rusher, Nolan, line him up over the center, and force LSU to put more attention by keeping backs in and chipping that outstanding pass rush.
They left Durham in to chip him, and Nolan still put the heat on Nussmeier. Short, wobbly punt. Micah Davis fielded it on the bounce. Hard to tell if it hit one of the coverage men on the way. 44-yard punt, 1-yard return. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, time now for our Dr. Pepper Fansville studio update in Eugene. Dan, number 2 Ohio State scored first. Here comes number 3 Oregon off the fumble.
Yeah, really good job of driving the football, take advantage of that turnover and punching it in for a touchdown.
Jordan James in the end zone, but a bad snap in the extra point makes it 7-6 still Buckeyes. Back to you, Sean.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Under 2.5 to go first quarter here. Fourth possession for Ole Miss. Jackson Dart took it down and ran into the rush. Didn't know that Braden Swinson was behind him, and he got taken down for a 2-yard sack.
Wow, that will go on Micah Pettis, the right tackle. That was really a coverage sack. Jackson Dart held onto that ball forever. He's got to cut it loose, especially knowing how good these defensive ends are.
Speaking of Oregon, Swinson's a transfer from Oregon. Second year here. He was a 3-year Duck. Play action pass all day for Dart. Harris is open again and has it this time. And he's down at the 38-yard line of LSU. 47 yards on the completion.
And LSU, they are very aggressive all over the field for new defense coordinator Blake Baker. But, man, they got to cover that post on the over. That's twice now. Harris has been wide open.
Design run for Dart. The senior from Kaysville, Utah, to the 34-yard line, a gain of 4. He's a 3-year starter. Started his career in Southern California, 1 year there, primarily a backup to Keaton Slovis. They're 23-8 in his first 31 starts as a Rebel. Led them to 11 wins last year, the school record. He handed it off, and Parrish is dropped for a loss by Major Burns. Senior from right here in Baton Rouge, a loss of 1.
Critical here for Jackson Dart to acknowledge here at the 35-yard line. Your kicker's already missed 1. You cannot take a sack. You absolutely have to get this ball out and be mindful. Use your legs. If nothing's there and they over pursue with their pass rush, take off, and you might be able to find someone uncovering.
Final half minute of the opening quarter. Dart manages to escape for the moment. Wants to run and gets taken down. Turned it into a gain of a couple. Got tackled by Greg Penn on what will likely be the last play of the first quarter. And a decision for Lane Kiffin on 4th down and 5. He has Joe Judge on his staff, the former Giants head coach, who is his analytics expert. They'll ponder it between quarters. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Needs to score there. What do you need to do to convert here?
Well, I mean, huge missed opportunities. Touchdown that we dropped, very unusual. He ain't going to drop one of those again, and then we miss a field goal, and then we don't get cut off on 4th and 1. So, you know, to be 0-0 with all those mistakes, I like the feel of this game. I like how we're playing. We feel like a much better team right now, but we're not finishing the plays here.
Are you going for it on 4th down here?
Pardon?
Are you going for it on 4th down here?
No.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
And he does send the field goal team out. And this time Davis is on target from 49 yards. And finally they're on the board. And I agree with him, Greg. It feels like everything's going their way. And it's hard to believe it was scoreless before that field goal.
Yeah, I mean, they only really can look in the mirror and look at their own mistakes. It has led to this score only being 3-0. And got to give LSU credit for capitalizing. But the first big mistake was a drop pass by by the nation's leading receiver. Then you miss a field goal on a high right cut. Looks like McDonough's drive. And then on the 4th and 1, you have a wide receiver that can't cut off the end man on the line of scrimmage on the direct snap. He's tackled short of the line to gain. And Lane Kiffin's offense stalls again. They've had plenty of opportunities. It just hasn't materialized for him.
He's used to quick starts. They, coming into tonight, had scored on their opening possession in 5 of their first 6 games and had scored within their first 2 possessions in every game. Not tonight. What a contrast to last year when they combined for 104 points and 1,343 yards. Davis kicks off. Another touchback. There's the Taco Bell Live Moss student section all season long. Student sections around the country continue to be the Taco Bell Live Moss student section of the year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more.
This LSU offense needs to find something. Joe Sloan's got to look and figure out a way to get the run game going a little bit. It's going to be perimeter runs. They're going to go with some stretch zone. They're going to utilize some pistol. They're going to run it to the edges. That's where they think they can have some success with their outstanding set of tackles. Emory Jones on the right and Will Campbell on the left.
Most think they have the best tackle tandem in the country in Campbell and Jones. 4-yard gain for Caden Durham, who gives them a home run threat. True freshman from Oklahoma City, played his high school football at Duncanville in Texas. Durham again gets pushed along by that offensive line and came up within a yard of the line to gain. A 5-yard pickup for Durham.
Just got to stay committed to it if you're Joe Sloan. Your offensive line is the strength of your team. You have big physical offensive linemen. Run the ball downhill. Oftentimes they've gotten away from the run a little too often this year. Commit to it and really challenge that offensive line.
They're 0 for 2 on 3rd down. There's all kinds of movement, and finally a flag. Xavier Harris came across the line of scrimmage, and he's pointing at the offensive line for LSU. Not sure the officials are sure about this one. So that gives LSU a 1st down.
Harris jumps in the neutral zone, then Dellinger just bang right across the helmet. Said, don't you come in my neutral zone now. That was a little aggressive, but hey, it does the job. Good utilization of the hard count there by LSU's offense.
Durham, the running back, he played just about half of their game. The last game against South Alabama, came out with a toe injury. Nussmeier pulled it down, then fires incomplete in the direction of Aaron Anderson, who transferred here after 1 year at Alabama.
So far, Nussmeier is just a little bit off the mark right now. You can tell that this defensive line has affected him, and Pete Golden, the defensive coordinator, said he does get affected by the rush. It happened against South Carolina. He hasn't played a ton, and they were hoping to do that early in this game, and it does appear like he's maybe the littlest bit hesitant to pull the trigger, because right there it felt like he had a chance to cut it loose.
He's just 3 for 11. 1 interception as well on the deflected ball. That run going nowhere for Durham. J.J. Pegues, the Oxford native who started his college career at Auburn and then came back home. It is a much improved defensive line over a year ago with the additions of Nolan and Uman Mielen.
Yet another extremely difficult down and distance for LSU. Another 3rd and extra long. Now, when they get in this empty set, they've done a good job of utilizing this number 3 wide receiver on jerk routes. So let's see if maybe they can get some type of matchup and hit him with some room to run.
No Princely Uman Mielen on the field on 3rd down and long for the Ole Miss defense. Nussmeier has time, has a wide open receiver. Lacey a first down to the Rebel 45-yard line. They got 19 on 3rd and 13.
A great job by Nussmeier. Good protection up front against a 3-man rush. Lacey slips a little bit as he's coming out of his break. Nussmeier throws it behind him, but a nice adjustment and conversion.
Lacey's had a nice season, including 5 touchdown receptions, entering tonight 3rd most of the SEC. Brian Williams, Keandre Lambert-Smith have 1 more than he. Durham taken down at the 45-yard line. Run down by Brandon Turnage, who rotates in at cornerback. He's played at Alabama, Tennessee, and now Ole Miss.
Have to do a better job on 2nd down. So see if you can get a quick pass to Mason Taylor, who's yet to really get started in this game. You got to get him going at some point. It's looking like man coverage, looks like 2-man a little bit here from Ole Miss. See if you can't get your tight end working, get him started.
Split out wide. Here's Durham. Nice bounce outside. He has sprinter speed. Flag thrown at the end of the run. Durham went down at the 30-yard line, but there is a flag near where Durham hit the grass after a 16-yard pickup.
Block in the back. Offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. Start a foul. 2nd down.
Tyron Lacey pleads innocent.
And I see what he's talking about. He does get behind him, but there isn't anything there. I mean, that's a bad call, and it's a good job by Amos selling it. I mean, he sold it and falls forward. Lacey didn't push him, though. But that's just a really, really unfortunate call there, and I don't think Lacey did anything wrong.
Matt Austin, our rules expert, agrees that that should not have been penalized. It's a big call. They were in field goal range. Now they're not. Josh Williams back across the 40-yard line. Here comes 3rd down and 3.
Third and 3 is just an automatic go-to down to your tight end. I mean, he's your most reliable weapon. Joe Sloan understands the chemistry that Nussmeier has with Mason Taylor. And if you get man coverage, zone coverage, doesn't matter. He's got such great feel. You got to look in the direction of Mason Taylor, who so far has had a really quiet night. He's right here. Look at that tight end right there as he's working across.
He's a lead blocker for Williams, who gets half of what they needed. Got 1.5 yards. Nice tackle made by Kilo Stone. Backup defensive tackle. And on 4th down in a long yard, Brian Kelly is going to go for it.
And I like the decision, too.
Biggs extra tight ends onto the field. Tamorian Pimpton and Bo Bordelon. And Nussmeier wants a timeout. The analytics definitely say go for it. Shaky penalty call. Celebrating its 100th year. Here's 4th down, officially 2. LSU down 3-0 early in the 2nd quarter. Caleb Jackson has come in at running back now. And he gets dropped for a big loss. Sontaran Perkins blew it up. Boy, that was a strange call. Long developing running play there, Greg.
And especially with no threat from the quarterback to run the football, they go with a little bit of a read sweep. You can also throw it underneath on a shovel pass. But Sontaran Perkins plays it perfectly, keeps his shoulders square, and he goes and makes the play in the backfield. Just really poorly executed there by LSU, but an outstanding play by the Ole Miss defensive end.
Who's an edge player up around the line of scrimmage. He's just 210 pounds. Sophomore from Raleigh, Mississippi. So the Rebels take over from their own 41. Jackson Dart, 6 out of 8 for 92 yards passing. Ulysses Bentley dropped at the line of scrimmage by Whit Weeks. From a Georgia football family, his dad David played center for the Dogs in the early 90s. Whit grew up not far from Athens, dreaming about being a Georgia Bulldog, but as he got older, he decided it's time to go see some of the rest of the world. Has come here to LSU and is having a great experience. Dart broken up, well covered. Zy Alexander knocked it down. It was intended for Daquan Wright, one of their tight ends. They'd like to get him more involved in the passing game. They line up quickly. LSU scrambling to line up.
Almost trying to get him caught in a substitution. You see number 35 for LSU. That's Savion Jones in a walk-around situation. Let's see if they get him lined up over the center and bring heat.
Tiger defenders moving all over the place. They bring pressure up the middle. It didn't get there. Dart got it to Harris, who lunges and is going to be very close to the first down. Actually, it was Daquan Wright, number 8, not number 9, Harris. 5th catch of the year for the junior. It is 4th down and inches. Bentley, first down and more. And he's going to go, bouncing off tacklers, touchdown. 50 yards for Ulysses Bentley, the 4th.
And it looked like this was going to be bottled up. You see number 8, Major Burns. He's all over it. I mean, he sees Bentley. He's out to the outside. Then, boom, Bentley puts his left foot in the ground, cuts back to the right, breaks a tackle. And there's nothing between him and the goal line. That's just an outstanding run from Bentley. Was pushed aside, buried on the depth chart, and the injury to Jones has opened the door for him to get more opportunities, and he pays it off right there with an outstanding 4th down run.
And there are many Rebel fans wondering where he's been. As we mentioned, had not had a carry in their 2 prior SEC games. Took that one the distance. The extra point's good. Lane Kiffin and the Rebels on the road. Now up 10-0. 3 Heisman trophies have called this their Heisman Trophy winners have called this their home field. Billy Cannon back in 1959, of course, the 2 great quarterbacks, 2 of the last 5 Heisman winners, Joe Burrow in 2019, Jaden Daniels in 2023. Now it holds more than 102,000, the 5th largest stadium in the country. And speaking of Billy Cannon, as the kickoff's a touchback. Halloween night, this became known as the Halloween Run, the most famous play in the history of this long rivalry. An 89-yard punt return in the 4th quarter as LSU defeated Ole Miss 7-3. Cannon went on to win the Heisman Trophy. That play one of the reasons why. They met twice in that 1959 season. Both were in the top 5 each time. New Year's Day in the Sugar Bowl, number 2 Ole Miss got their revenge. They beat number 3 LSU 21-0. What a colorful rivalry this is. Flag down on the snap. Josh Williams wide open on the catch. Upended across the 40 by Jaden Kennedy. 17 yards if it stands. Offside, the indication by the headline judge, Stephen Ray.
Offside.
Akilo Stone.
Needs to be something that LSU continues to get to. Their backs are some of their better players. Josh Williams outstanding. Caden Durham's got tons of explosiveness. They need to utilize that underneath passing attack and get some of their guys moving. They haven't really gotten Xavion Thomas involved yet. He's got tremendous speed. So they got to get their guys started right now because their offense feels like it's in a bit of a rut.
This really feels like an important drive for LSU. Down 10-0 now. Nussmeier Intended for Kyron Lacey and well defended by Trey Amos. The transfer from Alabama.
That's just really nicely done by Amos, too. He's got great length, and you see the recovery. He got spun around a little bit on the press bail technique, but that long arm, being able to reach out there and knock that ball down. He's 6'1", but he's got great length, and he's a very physical piece on the outside, and really hasn't been bothered by how strong these wide receivers are for LSU.
A little handsy from time to time. This season, they've had a problem with penalties in the back end. Josh Williams stacked up after a pickup of 3 for the 6th-year graduate student from Houston, Texas. And what a student he is. Graduated with a 3.4 in marketing. Earned an MBA last December. He's one of the semifinals for the Campbell Trophy, the top student athlete among college football players. The academic Heisman, as it is sometimes known. Third down and 8. This big crowd quiet, and there's some movement, and it'll be a false start against LSU.
False start. Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Miles Frazier, the 3rd-year starter at right guard.
Yet another situation. Has to be 3-4 times so far where LSU has been way behind the sticks. Brian Kelly has to be very frustrated with his offense on 1st and 2nd down. I mean, here, empty formation. You're going to have soft coverage underneath. I'd work Mason Taylor here in this number 3 to the field.
All-time leading receiver among tight ends in LSU history. They send him deep down the field. Nussmeier throws on the run, wide open, and a first down to the Ole Miss 40. Xavion Thomas, a gain of 18.
That was nice design there by Joe Sloan. They used Taylor to run right through the middle of the defense, and they sneaked Thomas in behind him on a deep in-cut route. And a nice conversion using their tight end as a decoy and bringing the Thomas underneath, who goes off looking as though he's a little hobbled.
Already battling a number of injuries at wide receiver. Shelton Sampson, redshirt freshman, came on. He does not have a career catch. Nussmeier dodged the rush. He's on target. Kyron Lacey, first down at the 12-yard line. 27 yards on the throw by Nussmeier, starting to settle in.
And just a great job moving in the pocket. Will Campbell, the left tackle. Perkins beats him up field, and great job by Nussmeier sliding, keeping his eyes downfield, and throwing a strike for a big conversion.
Completed 4 of his last 5. He's thrown for 300 plus in 4 of the first 5 games of the season. Only other LSU quarterbacks ever to do that, the Heisman winners, Burrow and Daniels. And now he's thrown a touchdown to Trey Green, the true freshman from right down the road. His 2nd career touchdown, a 12-yarder. And with the injuries at wide receiver, Joe Sloan told us they're going to use Green as a wide receiver, stretch him out a bit.
I'm not sure I could put into words just how important that drive was for Nussmeier and this LSU offense. Feeling like the game was slipping away a little bit, and they answer in a big way.
Damian Ramos, the extra point. He's made 111 in a row. 75 yards in 6 plays. Nussmeier's 16th touchdown pass of the season. Started the day leading the SEC in that category. Wednesday for the women, 11 a.m. Eastern time start both days. Press conferences, interviews, team previews. 10-7 LSU leads, 5.5 to go till halftime. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath in Death Valley. Aaron Burrell, the true freshman with a big leg, kicks the touchback. His 25th and 26th kickoffs. Time now for our Modelo playbook.
just perfect design. Looks inside like it's going to be a handoff, but it's actually an RPO, and look at the effect that it has on Moore, the safety. He flies into the backfield, and the big 6'7" Green sneaks right in behind him. It's a perfectly thrown ball by Nussmeier, and a big answer from the LSU offense.
So Ole Miss starts from its own 25. Dart takes off running. They had pressure on him. Don't know if it was a design run or if the traffic made him pull it down, but either way, he went for 17. Harris Shand had the pressure.
Such a great runner and very decisive when he decides to get upfield.
Much improved player, team leader. Just 21 years old. Given plenty of time to throw, wants to launch a deep one, and it is broken up. Well played by Ashton Stamps, who had the best shot at that one. It was intended for Jordan Watkins, a transfer from Louisville.
And it was well defended. Ball was in the air for a really long time, which allowed Stamps to collapse. It almost allowed Sage Ryan, the safety, to get over the top. But well-timed jump by Stamps to go and high point it and dislodge the football.
Charlie Weiss Jr. says they want to get Watkins more involved at wide receiver. He had 5 catches at South Carolina. Harris tackled immediately. And a big tackle, because if Harris spun away, he had some running room, but Zy Alexander got him on and the ground and held it to a 4-yard completion.
3rd and 7. This is where Ole Miss does a really good job of utilizing their snap count. So maybe they go with a little bit of a delay here to see if they can get LSU to jump off sides.
And Dart did clap his hands a couple of times. LSU didn't jump. Dart caught, first down. Caden Priestcorn, the tight end, for an 11-yard gain, his first catch of the night to the Tiger 45.
This is where Ole Miss's offense gets very difficult to defend. You're on the 5th play of the drive. You're on the far hash on Ole Miss's hash. Gets very tough from here.
Now quickly to Caden Lee. Ordinarily the slot receiver. They have played him out wide in recent games. He got knocked down across the boundary after an 11-yard gain and another first down.
Ole Miss will just keep it on that right hash over and over and over again. That way it's way too far for the LSU defenders to run all the way off to get a substitution.
Dart 10 out of 14 for 125. Bentley, the 50-yard touchdown run on 4th down. Their longest 4th down run since 2004. That run got 4, and we're down near 3 minutes to go now in the half. 2 timeouts for LSU and all 3 for Ole Miss.
Right here, this looks like a throw look. There's 6 guys in the box defensively for LSU, which means Jackson Dart, based on the box count, assuming it's going to be a throw, but now they bring the tight end so they can run it again.
They fake the handoff to Bentley. Dart weaving, stumbled. Had some running room if he could have gotten outside to his left, but Gio Paez was there with Deshaun Womack.
On come the pass rushers for LSU too. Swinson and Jones got a couple plays off there, and now they're fresh. Keep an eye on number 4, Braden Swinson, the best pass rusher, working against the right tackle. He's at the top of the screen.
Dart, short set, first down. He fired a dart to Jordan Watkins, who's inside the 20 with a 12-yard pickup. Nifty drive, the 9th play upcoming. 2 minutes to go, and here's the stoppage.
2-minute timeout.
After the first scoreless first quarter in this rivalry since 2006, and they play every year, both teams on the board here in the second quarter. On ABC, Minnesota and the New York Liberty. What a wild game won by Minnesota in overtime. They rallied from 18 down. WNBA Countdown tips off the coverage at 2:30. Guessing Shaq will be watching that one. Watching with great interest as Ole Miss is on the move. 2 minutes to go in the half. The Rebels at the 19 of LSU leading 10-7. First down and 10, ninth play of the drive. Dart, so good at sidestepping the rush, and he slides down with a 4-yard gain under the hit from Whit Weeks. And apparently there was contact as they throw a flag at the end of it.
Yeah, this is potentially big too. I mean, Whit Weeks is not trying to do anything that would be intentional, but man, you just hope that the crown didn't hit Dart as he was going to the ground. That would be a really unfortunate targeting, but he's so important for this LSU defense.
Personal foul.
Oh, wow. This would be an enormous loss if the targeting stays.
Dart sliding there, but in order, he's a defenseless player. In order for this, you have to have an indicator, meaning there has to be an upward thrust or launch. But you see the lowering of the helmet. Does it look like the crown of the helmet's what initiates contact? That would be an indicator, but man, a bang-bang play and a potentially massive call and a possibly huge loss for LSU if Whit Weeks can't continue.
Whit Weeks is their leading tackler for the season and asked to do even more with Harold Perkins, the All-American, out for the season. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, you've seen a few replays now. What do you think?
I have, and since the quarterback is sliding, he is a defenseless player, so all it needs is a hit above the shoulders or to the head and neck area. I mean, it doesn't have to be a crown. And as Greg said, there does have to be indicators. There is a lowering of the head. He is attacking with force. Since the call on the field was made, I think replay can confirm targeting.
I understand it by the letter of the law. I get it. I don't like it, though. I mean, I feel like as a football player, I can somewhat judge intent. And right there, it doesn't appear like Whit Weeks is not going in for a kill shot. He's simply trying to make a tackle. The quarterback decides to slide late, and it's circumstantial. So I wish that this would be a scenario where, okay, that's fine. If you want to flag him, cool, but he gets to stay in the game. So I just hate when situations like this arise because sometimes the defense is already at such a disadvantage playing in modern era football that it just is really unfortunate that he might not be able to continue when it didn't appear like he had done anything really all that wrong.
Do you want to rebut that, Matt?
No, I agree with Greg. You're getting into a different conversation, the personal foul 1 versus 2. I agree with that. I don't think that will get any traction with the conferences. The other thing to think about in this play, now that I've seen it again, is if a defender is pretty much just holding his ground versus coming forward and absorbing a blow versus delivering one, that could also be something you're taking into consideration here because he was not running full speed. He's standing there and he basically fell forward, leading with his head.
Right. Also hard on tacklers, not just in that instance when the target changes, obviously, with Dart going down into a slide. What would you ascertain from the fact that the referee is now writing some notes?
Well, usually when you're writing notes, you're going to change the ruling on the field. If everything stays the same, you don't have to move the ball or anything like that. So it's hard to tell, but my guess would be that they may pick it up.
Weeks from such a football family. His older brother West is on the team, also a linebacker. Their younger brother Zach's a junior in high school and a very talented linebacker being recruited by a lot of powerhouses, including LSU. He's here.
The runner was sliding, and therefore there was not a hit. It was caught on the helmet. There is no foul for targeting. It'll be second down at the 15-yard line for Ole Miss. There'll be a 10-second subtraction opportunity we're going to discuss with each side.
It was hard to understand with the problem with the microphone, but I think he said there is no foul for targeting.
And I think that's the right call. I didn't see any upward thrust. I saw that there was some helmet-to-helmet contact, but I think it's the right call. I really do. And I know that it's all about protecting ball carriers and, frankly, protecting tacklers. Don't lower your head. That protects the tackler. But either way, it's just a very tough bang-bang play, and I hate to see a guy's night end because of it.
Lane Kiffin still not sure they got it right. And I don't even know if the crowd knows because the call was muffled by the feedback and the referee, Ken Williamson's microphone. But it's a LSU defense that's a work in progress and cannot afford to lose its leading tackler. Lane Kiffin, by the way, looking for his 40th win as Ole Miss coach tonight, and if he gets it, he'd be the fastest to 40 wins in program history. Yes, Matt. Do you want to add more, Matt? We heard maybe he's just talking to our esteemed producer, Phil Dean.
Well, the referee made an announcement that there's a 10-second subtraction here, and I'm not sure why there would be. There was not a first down. The only clock stoppage was the foul, which a flag was thrown on the play, so that's the natural stoppage. Let's see.
Hang on a second, Matt. We're going to get another announcement.
Had the ruling on the field not required a flag, the clock would not have legally stopped. Therefore, there'll be a 10-second subtraction to this game clock. LSU has chosen to take a timeout to avoid that 10-second subtraction.
And Brian Kelly, I think, Greg, understanding his team's probably going to have to score with Ole Miss tonight. They're probably not going to stop them with regularity. He wants another chance with the ball. So while they execute the timeout, let's check in with Kevin.
Sean Ford, halftime report, minutes away with Booger McFarland, Dan Orlovsky. We were discussing it. Right call to be reversed there?
Yeah, I agree with that. By the letter of the law, there was head contact, but really good job by the referees looking at it. The runner was sliding. Weeks was not lusting forward, so I like the call.
Yeah, I like it as well. It's also huge momentum-wise for Ole Miss. Boogie pointed it out. Score before the half, and then they get to kick to start the second half.
Need a big stop from LSU. We haven't seen a lot of stops in Eugene. Highlights coming your way between Ohio State and Oregon. Sean, back to you.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. So one timeout left for LSU. Ball spotted at the 15. 10th play of the drive. Upcoming. They started at their own 25-yard line. Whit Weeks still on the field. They send Henry Parrish out wide. Design run for Dart, and they were ready for him. Ripped down by Braden Swinson. Dart got just across the line of scrimmage, perhaps a half-yard pickup.
Another timeout by LSU.
And you understand, as we said, why Brian Kelly's using those timeouts. So far they've held Ole Miss to just the 10 points, but it certainly feels like it could be a lot more than that.
Yeah, and they need more possessions, and Ole Miss getting the ball to start the second half is, I think it's going to lead to them being even more aggressive. Look, he trusts his quarterback too, so even if they get it at a minute or so, depending on the field position, you want to go down and try to steal some points. So I think it's a smart move here. Now it's just going to be interesting to see what Ole Miss decides to do. Do they run it here on third down? Depending on box count, that's not a bad play, because then you can keep the clock rolling and take it down nearing a minute and still have the opportunity to decide whether you go for it on fourth down or kick the field goal.
3rd and 6. 2 for 2 on third down of this drive. Dart, plenty of time, end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Trey Harris with Major Burns right there.
Man, what a big-time catch by Trey Harris. Had the big drop earlier. Dart won't lose faith in him, that's for sure. He goes up and over Burns. The ball's thrown low. I mean, this is an impossibly difficult catch around Burns, who's in good coverage, but the strength of Harris with his hands holding the ball up against Burns' back and going to the ground for the touchdown. What a great play by the Ole Miss wide receiver.
Well, the catches of the season by Trey Harris, the nation's leading receiver. 15-yard touchdown, and Caden Davis on for the extra point. Now Harris dropped one that would have been an 81-yard touchdown at the start of the game. His 4th drop of the year, which is one more than he had all last year, but this one might atone for it.
And this is a great job by Jackson Dart. You look at his eyes starting to the right to widen that safety, to give yourself plenty of room to work the one-on-one with your best receiver against the nickel and slightly undersized Burns. Just an incredible catch, which gives Harris the freedom to go over and whack. Whoa, no. Oh, no. Oh, you can't. Not with Shaq in the house. No. Not with Shaq Diesel in the house. You got to throw it down. Give him another chance. You got to end on a miss. Wow.
I think that rim would be about chin high on Shaq.
I think that's one where it's like, you know, you're going to hear about it the next day from your buddies. Like all the guys, I bet you Lane Kiffin shows that in team meeting. First chance he gets. That one you're going to have to live with, unfortunately.
So Trey Harris coming off a season low 81 receiving yards in their last game at South Carolina. And that's because he played a half, missed almost the entire second half due to that foot injury that made him questionable for tonight. He has 5 catches for 84 and the touchdown. Davis's kickoffs, the touchback. Here are the college football rankings. Brought to you by Capital One, #1 Texas. Big win in the Red River rivalry over Oklahoma. Ohio State #2 at #3 Oregon, and that one's a dandy.
How about Penn State?
Yeah,
I mean,
rallied to beat USC.
What's going on with Georgia's defense? 31 against Mississippi State as well. I mean, just a wild and unpredictable October that we're in the midst of here in college football.
And credit to Notre Dame rallying back after the opening loss at Texas A&M. Clemson rolling now after its opening loss to Georgia. Nussmeier going deep. Lacey, single coverage, flag down. Greg mentioned it earlier. Kennedy's been a heavily penalized player, and here's another flag.
Oh, and you hate to see it. Man, this is Lacey going down, grabbing his left knee. He lands so awkwardly at the end of this play.
Pass interference, defense number 28. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Well, the college football rule, it's not spotted the foul near the 35-yard line. And is this going to be another devastating injury to their wide receiver group?
And an obvious pass interference, but you see left leg extending and just hyper-extending there, and Lacey going to the ground immediately and grabbing it. Man, you just hope he's okay. This was his year. He had waited. A couple of great players leave from Thomas, and with Hilton sidelined, he's kind of been thrust into the featured role, and you just hate to see him go down in pain on the Tiger turf.
Of course, off last year's team, they lost 2 first-round wide receivers. Malik Neighbors to the New York Giants with the #6 overall pick. Brian Thomas later in the first round at Jacksonville. And then 3 receivers out tonight. Hilton hasn't played all year, coming back from a stress fracture. He'll be their home run threat when he plays, and they hope it's in their next game. Daniels, one of 4 receivers who had 20 catches or more to this point of the season, aggravated a knee injury, something that bothered him when he was at Liberty, from which he transferred here to LSU. And Kyle Parker was a little deeper down the depth chart, but he had been emerging. He's out for the year.
Man, I can't tell you how relieved you must feel if you're on that LSU sideline to see Lacey walking off under his own power and kind of stretching out that left leg. Now, haven't talked to the trainers, but man, to see him walking off without a ton of favoring of that side is massive.
So the penalty brings the ball to the 40. Still time, 1:36, but no timeouts for LSU. They do have the freshman kicker, Aaron Burrell, who's not attempted a field goal, but Brian Kelly said he could make one from 65 yards. Nussmeier off the hands of Aaron Anderson, wide open near the Ole Miss 42.
Anderson's had such a great year, and that's just really out of character right there. I mean, it's a perfectly thrown football and potentially a big play. I mean, that's one you absolutely have to reel in. There's another couple yards there, and you're flirting with field goal range. Nussmeier's settling into a nice rhythm, though, and he's also back to work in the middle of the field. His offensive line, the protection, too, here in the second quarter has been much improved.
Caden Durham comes in at running back. Nussmeier forced back, throws on the run, diving attempt, caught by Xavion Thomas. But Isaiah Hamilton right on him. That's to the 45-yard line of Ole Miss for 15 yards. They'll go quickly. The clock stopped for a moment to move the chains. 1:25 to go. Nussmeier, that time a nice catch by Anderson, and another first down to the 33-yard line. 12-yard pickup. They are in field goal range now. Kyron Lacey is back on the field. To the top of your screen, the short side left of Nussmeier. And he is the target, and he has it. And a first down out of bounds at the 17-yard line. And now Jared Ivey is down on the field. And the fans boo. Now we should point out this is the first time tonight, Lane Kiffin's hollering at Ken Williamson, that there has been a stoppage for an injured Ole Miss player. They have been heavily criticized the last 3 games for one injury stoppage that looked questionable after another. 29 of them in the last 3 games against Wake Forest, Kentucky, and South Carolina. In almost every instance, the player returned to the game very quickly. And it got to the point, as Ivey is helped off, it got to the point where Ole Miss put out a statement last night and basically acknowledged they're aware of the criticism that feigning injuries is really, even though it's not against the rules, it's considered to be unethical in the words of the rule book, and that Lane Kiffin was going to tell his coaches and players about it. Clearly they've made a concerted effort not to fake injuries tonight.
Yeah, much improved. But here, an example in which LSU has great momentum offensively. They're in cruise control. They're really clicking, and sure enough, this stops the rhythm. So it is peculiar timing, because this appears to be one of the better drives we've seen from LSU, especially when they've been utilizing tempo.
We'll see how quickly, if in fact Ivey does come back in quickly. A draw, a little awkward looking. Caden Durham spins ahead to the 16. And now the clock goes under a minute. Now they're lining up quickly, but they have a lot of time. They're on the 16-yard line with 55 seconds to go.
Does Ole Miss start to think about maybe calling some timeouts at some point here too, with how fast they can go?
Nussmeier against the blitz, had an open receiver, and it's caught by Xavion Thomas, who wasn't as wide open as Aaron Anderson, but it worked. Touchdown, and what a drive. They went 75 yards in just 58 seconds and 6 plays. And credit Brian Kelly for great clock management using his timeouts on defense. They're going to confirm the catch. Was it a catch by Thomas?
Pretty well covered. Kennedy actually gets a hand on it. Ooh, the nose of the football goes down to the ground.
Well, that can happen if he has control of it.
Has to secure it on the way to the ground, and right there it's difficult to see. Does he have full control before the ball hits? Right there, the nose of the football right there, but does he have firm control at that point? It's difficult to tell. Ball definitely hits the ground, but it can, as long as there's firm control secured beforehand.
I don't think he had firm control, but I also don't think we've seen conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field. Matt, what do you think?
From experience, I don't think there's any way this is the catch. He didn't touch the ball until he was almost already touching his elbows to the ground. It looked like his hands slid over the ball after the nose hit the ground. I think this is an incomplete pass.
And do you see, okay, based on your experience, but do you see conclusive evidence on the replays to do that?
Yeah, I thought the view from the other side of the field, with the looking into the receiver's face mask, I thought you could see his hands slide down the ball on the ground.
This is a great look at it right here. Ball still moving at that point, it appears. The nose of the football touches the ground. And then it kind of rolls over the top. I'm with Matt. I think it's an incomplete pass. Of course, has to be indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt to
I don't see that.
I'm with you.
I agree. I don't think he caught it either, but I still am looking for the evidence. And I think we've seen this year several instances where replay officials are ignoring that part of the charter and just say, well, you know, I'm pretty sure based on blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it's supposed to be conclusive by the video.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. It is tough for me to look at it and think conclusively that there's enough to overturn, but it does look like that ball is moving.
He's writing things down, which doesn't bode well for LSU, according to Matt Austin's experience.
After further review, the runner did not control the ball going to the ground. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. He's down the 16-yard line. Please correct the clock. 46 seconds. 4-6.
Well, they just need to get rid of the conclusive video evidence part of this thing then going forward and just make it my best guess based on what I think is that he didn't catch it. Because the conclusive video evidence thing has gone right out the window this year in college football.
That was a bang play for sure, and I do think I saw the ball move a touch, but you're right, it's tough to know if he has grasp before the ball touches the ground.
Well, a huge call. It takes down the touchdown. The ball's on the 16, 3rd down and 8. 44 seconds, no timeouts for LSU, all 3 for the Rebels.
Looks like a pressure look from Ole Miss up the middle.
And they bring pressure, and Nussmeier throws for Aaron Anderson over his head. And Aaron Anderson was wide open on the previous play. They elected to throw it to Xavion Thomas.
Pretty well executed drive there, though, by LSU. But the problem is, did you leave too much time for Jackson Dart, Lane Kiffin with 3 timeouts remaining? And by the time they get it, might be around 34, 35 seconds.
And here's Damian Ramos, former walk-on, redshirt junior from Baltimore. 33-yard attempt, and that one hooks inside the right upright. And he's now 6 out of 7 in field goals this year. And that makes it a 1-score game.
And what Sean's describing, you're going to see just an absolute butter route right here by Aaron Anderson. Look at him set up the safety, cross face, and he's wide open. Double post. He even puts his hand up asking for the football. Just a perfect route, but the pressure up the middle forced Nussmeier to retreat. Made a ridiculous throw. I mean, that throw was absurd just to give his wide receiver a chance. Didn't have quite enough on it. One that you would think the receiver might be able to reel in, but a big missed opportunity, though. Had he stayed inside, it's a touchdown more than likely.
After no points on the board by either team in the first quarter, 27 combined in the second quarter. Micah Davis back for the kickoff from the freshman from Bossier City, Louisiana, Aaron Burrell, with the enormous leg. It'll be a touchback. What do you think they'll do? We'll ask you that in a moment. First, we'll remind you Monday Night Football comes your way after Week 6 of Sunday NFL, which starts at 10 a.m. with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. Then Monday Night Football on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and Plus. The Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. Payne and Eli will be on ESPN2. SVP and the Monday Night Countdown Crew gets started at 6 p.m. First game for the Jets after they fired Robert Saleh earlier this week. Ole Miss typically pretty aggressive. They can score quickly. They have all 3 timeouts. Parrish swung down after a 5-yard gain. Greg Penn in on the tackle. Senior from Baltimore.
Timeout. Ole Miss. First and half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Well, they have demonstrated they can go up and down the field. I think the question for me, Greg, still is how good is this Ole Miss offense? Because they were record-setting in their first 4 games of the year. 600-plus yards of offense against Furman, Middle Tennessee, Wake Forest, and Georgia Southern. But you look back at that, those 3 FBS teams that they played are all in the bottom 10 in total defense and in pass defense. Then they got stymied by Kentucky. Better last week against a good South Carolina defense. There's Charlie Weiss Jr. who calls the plays. But how good are they?
I really like their skill. I mean, I think their skill's elite. With their wide receiver core, I think they have 2 tight ends that are excellent. Jackson Dart has full control of this offense. I still think their offensive line's a massive question mark. And when you're talking about college football playoff level caliber teams, national championship, SEC championship caliber teams, I got to see more from the line of scrimmage. And they've done okay tonight against some pretty good defensive ends from LSU.
Well, how often do we see this? This game was heading to the half about a half hour ago. And there come all the timeouts, the reviews, and now I think LSU thought there was a fumble here.
Ooh, and that ball does look like it's coming out. Now you got to make sure you see an immediate recovery as well, which you do. Looks like McKinley gets in there and snags it. This is massive.
Yes, it is. And the crowd starting to get energized as they watch some of the same replays that you're seeing. Penn and Weeks, that tandem of linebackers.
I mean, that ball is out. And is it at that point that Parrish, is he on the ground? Didn't look like his elbow was anywhere near. It looked like that ball was moving.
Matt Austin, what say you?
I think this is a fumble. I do not see any body part down by the runner prior to the ball coming out. I think this is going to be a fumble and a change of possession.
Man, I mean, that is just enormous.
LSU fans hoping that Ken Williamson is using that pen and paper again. John Allman is the replay official.
And it just goes back to the play earlier where Whit Weeks was nearly ejected from the game. He remains in, and now a massive play at the end of half where he potentially strips the football and might steal some points for this LSU team.
You and I have met with a lot of players in production meetings the day before the game over the years. Do you ever meet anybody more enthusiastic than Whit Weeks?
He's got great energy.
He couldn't wait to play. Here's the ruling.
After review, runner lost possession, trying to be ruled down.
Well, what a swing of emotions for this crowd. They thought they had a touchdown to get within 3. That got taken down on replay. Whit Weeks, as soon as that play ended, was pointing toward the end zone as if to say, that's a fumble and we have it, and he was right. So now, 26 seconds to go. No timeouts for LSU. Their ball on the Ole Miss 28-yard line, 1st and 10.
You got to trust your quarterback here. If you're Joe Sloan, the OC, cannot take a sack if you're Garrett Nussmeier. Let's see if Pete Golding maybe decides to bring a little pressure.
They rushed 4. Nussmeier, Sads, throws, end zone! Diving attempt and incomplete. Xavion Thomas again thought he had one. It got overturned on replay. Got his fingertips on that and couldn't snare it with Isaiah Hamilton covering.
And a very similar play to the one a moment ago. A double post. This time they're playing with split safeties. Tries to get it up and over the top, but Thomas almost reels it in again. Almost the exact same result as the play before that was overturned.
They are in field goal range for Ramos. Again, a 4-man rush. Nussmeier running out of time. Lost it up for the big tight end, Taylor, and it's incomplete. Basketball play there. He was trying to box out Trey Amos and couldn't do it. Mason Taylor, the son of the great Miami Dolphin, the Hall of Famer Jason Taylor.
Great try. Almost was able to get up, but just didn't have his weight underneath himself to be able to jump up, and it was almost nearly intercepted in the back as well by Turnage. And here you got to remind everybody on the field, if the ball is tackled short of the end zone, clock operation. Get up there, and spike it. Of course, you got to get the first down.
Yeah, you can't do it if you don't get the first down, because it'll be fourth down. The line gains the 18. Nussmeier over the middle, incomplete for Lacey. So the Ole Miss defense holds. Been an outstanding defense all year long. But again, you wonder about the level of competition that came in, giving up just 7.5 points per game. Only Ohio State and Texas better. Entering today, here's Ramos, 1 for 1. This is a 45-yarder, which would match his season long.
Timeout. Ole Miss. This will be a 30-second timeout.
The first 28 minutes of playing time took about an hour and 15 minutes. The last 2 minutes are going to take over a half hour to play.
It's turning into basketball here at the end of the game situation, but a lot of drama here in these last 2 minutes. You had a great drive by Ole Miss, incredible catch by Trey Harris, a nice answer by LSU, a touchdown wiped off the board, and then a fumble, which now allows LSU a possibility to score some more points. So pretty crazy and chaotic here, final 120 seconds of this ball game.
Again, a 45-yard try. His season long, as you said, 45. That was indoors in Las Vegas in their opener against Southern California. The punter, Peyton Todd, is the holder. Slade Roy, the long snapper. That operation is excellent, as is the kick. A lot of twists and turns here in the last couple of minutes of the half. And LSU is within 4 with 5 seconds to go till halftime. It got off to a slow start. No points the first 7 drives combined, and lately it's reminiscent of last year's crazy game up in Oxford when Ole Miss won 55-49, but Jaden Daniels was throwing into the end zone at the end of the game trying to win it for the Tigers.
And we're at about 481 total yards of offense right now for both teams. So what, only about 800 to go?
A little under 900 to go. That's last year's total. It's the 3rd highest combined yardage total in a game in SEC history. Aaron Burrell. Touchback. Friends, we hope you'll help if you can. Folks affected by Hurricanes Milton and Helene, donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover from these awful disasters. More than 2 million homes and businesses still without power from Milton. And Helene, the loss is estimated at $47.5 billion across 6 states. Just devastating. We hope you'll help. redcross.org/ESPN. So we head to the half. And a typical rivalry game. Lots of twists and turns and emotion. A lot of big plays and key plays. Here's Molly.
Coach, LSU's offense was threatening there at the end of the half. How much confidence did you have in your defense to keep them out of the end zone?
A lot of confidence. We really played one really bad series of defense. Other than that, we played really good. We just keep handing opportunities away. Gave them 3 points there at the end. Obviously back to the beginning of, not completing the touchdown pass. So I like where this is at. We got to clean things up, and I'm excited for the second half.
Yeah, momentum shift with that fumble at the end there. What will you say to your offense in the locker room?
Well, we just got to take care of the ball and manage the situations. Again, we're just handing away some points. So
212 on hand. Homecoming, 113th meeting. All-time Ole Miss and LSU at the half. It's a 4-point lead for the 9th-ranked Rebels. Twice they led by 10. We heard a couple of interviews with Molly McGrath and Lane Kiffin in that first half. Both times Lane said, I really like the way this is going. It's just a couple of little things that have kept this close.
Yeah, they're averaging over 7 yards a play. I mean, they've had big play opportunities, but they've shot themselves in the foot a couple times. They had the fumble late in the half. They had a big dropped pass on the first or second play of the game that would have been a 60, 70-yard touchdown to Trey Harris. They missed a field goal. They had a 4th and 1 miscommunication that resulted in a tackle for loss. I mean, they've had several opportunities to pull away from LSU, and they've had some self-inflicted mistakes. So they got to feel pretty good about how they played in this first half. Just got to clean things up.
Aaron Burrell to kick off again. And it's another touchback. Here's Molly.
Well, at halftime, LSU head coach Brian Kelly predicted that this was going to continue to be a close game that will go down to the wire, saying our skill players need to step up and make a big play. This is the kind of game that will come down to one play. It'll be a win or lose situation with our skill players, and he challenged his defense to set the tone in this second half. He said he wants them to get a stop here and really challenge this Ole Miss offense and keep them out of rhythm. Guys.
And if need be, maybe put Shaq in. Play some tight end, maybe some defensive line. Jackson Dart, 13 out of 17 in the first half for a 155 and a touchdown. Throws a sinker on first down. He was pressured by Braden Swinson, who's had another good night tonight for the LSU defense.
That's been one area, too, where you would anticipate with the challenges that Ole Miss has had along the offensive line. I thought this LSU defensive front would have a lot of success, but the O-line's held up pretty good. Swinson's had some moments, but for the most part, Dart's had time.
Dart's been sacked twice. His touchdown pass to Harris in the first half, the 57th of his Ole Miss career, which ties him with Matt Corral for 3rd all-time in Rebels history. Now behind Eli Manning and Bo Wallace. Harris tackled just short of the first down by Zy Alexander.
3rd and short, you can expect inside run.
Henry Parrish is the running back. He goes inside and got the first down and then got tackled by Whit Weeks, his 11th tackle, which matches his career high. He had 11 last game 2 weeks ago in their win against South Alabama.
This is where Ole Miss has a tendency to take a shot, throw it downfield.
You send 4 receivers out. Trey Harris circles back to the ball and gets to the 46-yard line.
Especially here in a 2nd and short situation with some rhythm. Hand it off, but you also like to maybe take a chance downfield if you like your numbers.
102 yards receiving for Harris with almost a full half to go. Came in averaging 147.5 per game to lead the nation. His 5th 100-yard receiving game of the year, and this their 7th game. Dart under pressure as he threw, incomplete in the direction of Harris, who signals to the sideline that he wants to come off, which means LSU has time to substitute if it would like.
Big 3rd and short, another inside run. The interior of this offensive line has had some success running it between the tackles tonight, averaging over 5 yards a carry, so would anticipate pressure and possibly the use of J.J. Pegues, the short yardage specialist.
And he's out there now. Defensive lineman who's seen plenty of time on offense, has scored 4 touchdowns. He lines up in the pistol behind Dart. Last week they direct snapped the ball to him. There's Pegues, who was a tight end in high school. Converted to defensive line at Auburn, and now has become a two-way player at 325 pounds.
I don't know how you stop him. I mean, the guy is so strong and has such great feet for a guy that's as big as he is. We've been told that he can also throw it, too. Now, we haven't seen that.
A little pop pass here, perhaps. Garrett Nussmeier taking oxygen, hasn't been on the field yet here in the second half. Well, a timeout by Ole Miss. They lead 17-13 as they try to get to 6-1. And as we said at the outset, has the field with an eye toward the college football playoff. As a must-win game, with a loss tonight, their percentage chance drops down to about 25%.
I think it's 4-down territory, knowing that Lane Kiffin is going to roll the dice. Big down here early in the second half.
It is Pegues taking that direct snap.
Oh my.
You have to be courageous to stand in his path. He got 6 yards.
And just a bumbling, stumbling, boom, 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 boom. I mean, good luck.
He ran over Sage Ryan at the end of it.
That is not a comfortable situation to be in if you're Sage Ryan.
Or anybody else in that Tiger White. Henry Parrish Jr. taken down. Another beautiful tackle. Zy Alexander, you can see why he's a difference maker for this Tiger defense when he's healthy.
Yeah, he's been great, and it's been a big key for them to tackle on the perimeter. These Ole Miss Rebels do a great job of making guys miss.
Very quickly back over the ball. Dart. Short throw. Good tackle again. Caden Lee stopped immediately by Greg Penn. And now he's not getting up. Four-yard gain. Stoppage in play. Just underway third quarter. Ole Miss up by 4.
Where senior linebacker Greg Penn making the tackle on second and long lands on Caden Lee's left leg right to the midsection. He was helped off, but was able to get to the sideline under his own power, but a lot of pain, I would imagine, there in the midsection because of that.
Von Keys comes in, a true freshman, played very little, wearing number 42. They'd like to get Penn back out there as quickly as they can. They'd certainly like to have him on this 3rd and 6.
Got to watch the hard count from Ole Miss here as well.
9th play of the drive, opening possession of the third quarter. Dart, far sideline, caught, first down. Jordan Watkins with Ashton Stamps in coverage. And Greg Penn does come back in. He's their second leading tackler for the year. They bring pressure off the corner. It's picked up, but they got there. Major Burns. The ball came out. The back stayed in to block Burns. Looked like he had him, but Burns powered through it to get to Dart, and the ball came out. No signal yet from the officials. LSU thinks they have it. We haven't seen a call yet from Ken Williamson and his crew. What a play by Major Burns, the senior from right here in Baton Rouge. 4th year here after 1 season at Georgia back in 2020. Officials conferring. Major has the ball. Stephen Ray lost his hat.
The ball was fumbled and recovered by the offense after the play was over. Personal foul and unnecessary roughness. Number 65 on the offense. 15-yard penalty. Again, we'll kick. It'll be second down.
Jerquan Scott called for the penalty. LSU thought they had recovered the fumble, but apparently they did not.
And a great pressure off the left side by Major Burns. Henry Parrish sees it but doesn't attack it, and Burns is able to collapse right around it. The ball is dislodged. And luckily, Ole Miss is able to recover it, but Jerquan squad 65 with the late push there that results in a 15-yard penalty after the play.
Apparently, it looked like Dart perhaps got it back. The penalty against Scott brings the ball back to the Ole Miss 40. Scott's been battling back from injury. They think he's going to be a key member of that offensive line, and now a false start.
False start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
Nate Caleppo, one of the 2 offensive linemen for Ole Miss who transferred in after playing at Washington last year, a team that went to the national title game and won the Joe Moore Award as the best offensive line. The other is Julius Bulow, number 52. 2nd and 37. Play clock down to 4. Another blitz. Swinton got there, and it's thrown away by Dart. Braden Swinson was right on Jackson Dart and forced the throw.
And Swinson does a great job of winning inside. The entire offensive line is sliding this way, and yet he still beats the right tackle. Pettis inside and forces Dart out of the pocket, and a difficult chance there for Dart.
Third down and 37. There's 6 of their last 7 on third down. However, Ulysses Bentley tripped up in the open field. Nice tackle by Xavier Atkins, a true freshman from Houston. They're playing with a lot of freshmen on defense. There's a flag down at the end of the play.
They might get another penalty here on Ole Miss. Look, there might have been some holding downfield.
I would think they would turn it down if that's the case, with 4th down in New Orleans.
Holding. Offense number 61.
So they had the ball for 12 plays, and they wind up having 18 yards on the drive. Diego Pounds, the transfer from North Carolina, who's been starting at left tackle with Jaden Williams out injured. 3rd straight start for Pounds. Frazier Mazin, 3rd-year starting punter. The Australian. Nice kick. Xavion Thomas is going to try it. He bounced off the first hit and brought it to the 18-yard line. He was met immediately by Isaiah Hamilton, who could not make the tackle. 45-yard punt, 8-yard return. Time for tonight's Sonic Drive-In recap.
It's been the miscues from Ole Miss. Missed play by Trey Harris. Deep ball, drops it. He's to the house, and they miss a field goal a little later, in the first quarter. Then on 4th and short, they don't block the end man on the line of scrimmage. They try to put a receiver on him. That didn't work out so well. And then the fumble late by Parrish that was recovered by LSU that led to 3 more points for the Tigers. And then first drive of second half, they have several penalties. So they've had a lot of mistakes tonight.
First possession of the second half for Garrett Nussmeier and LSU. Caden Durham banged out of bounds, far sideline, 23-yard line. Trey Washington knocked him out of bounds.
LSU has to get the run game going. Just 33 rushing yards in the first half. But that play right there, even though it goes down as a pass, it's really like a toss sweep. So they got to get this defense running sideline to sideline.
They've run twice as many pass plays as runs. 27 passes. Flag down before the snap for a false start.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. It remains second down.
It's on the center. DJ Chester, redshirt freshman from Conyers, Georgia.
And this has been a theme really all season long with Chester and this offensive line, and they've had a bunch of false starts. And I don't know if it's Chester being late on the snap. That time it looked like it was. You just can't keep going backwards when you have such a veteran group up front.
3rd year here for Brian Kelly. Very happy here in Baton Rouge. Called this a transition year when he first got here, they were way down in scholarship numbers coming off a 6-7 season. Gradually building it back up. Durham run down from behind by Chris Paul. The transfer from Arkansas. Been terrific. 6-yard gain. Dick Golding, the defensive coordinator, said really he thinks the key to their defense so far this year has been the play of Paul and TJ Daugherty, the other linebacker. Particularly their communication skills. Last year, first year in the system, lots of issues just lining up correctly and executing the defense much better in that regard in year 2. On 3rd down and 4, 3-man rush. Nussmeier has a man breaking open. Aaron Anderson out of bounds inside the 30. He beat Jaden Kennedy in coverage.
And just a great job by Nussmeier recognizing that the safety to the right-hand side was going to run up to the line of scrimmage and cut the crosser, which allowed plenty of room for Anderson to run on the angle route in behind it. Just perfectly executed on a 3rd and medium. You throw it downfield and get a big conversion.
.46-yard completion to Anderson. Has had at least 5 catches in every game this year. Just 2 so far tonight.
They have numbers to the left-hand side if they want to run it. They want to run stretch zone to the left. I mean, they got plenty of room.
Josh Williams back at running back out of the pistol. They run to the right, and he stumbles ahead for 2. It was interesting what we just saw there. You know, Joe Sloan, we talked to him yesterday, the offensive coordinator, said one of the benefits of having the coach to helmet, the quarterback's helmet communication, is it's not like we've seen so much in recent years in college football where the quarterback gets to the line, starts to call a play, then he looks to the sideline. And then the defense knows, okay, it's going to be a moment before the snap, so they start to adjust. They've coached Nussmeier, you know, to not look to the sideline, to stand with his hand toward the center. And he can take his time. They can change the play in his helmet without looking. They didn't do that on the last play. He throws into traffic. Looking for Mason Thomas, a terrific tight end who does not have a catch tonight. Came in as their leading receiver for the year with 28. Double covered. Chris Paul was there.
Really not a good decision by Nussmeier. I mean, there haven't been many tonight in which he's really forced it, and they're in double coverage. Never sees the safety over the top. And lucky that that ball wasn't intercepted by Amos, who just kind of mistimed his jump. But you can't hear on 3rd down and 8. You cannot hold the ball knowing that this defense is going to probably try and knock you out of field goal range. You got to get rid of it.
They are in field goal range. We're midway through the 3rd quarter. Pressure brought by Ole Miss. Up for grabs. And incomplete. Again trying to get it to Mason Taylor. Trey Washington eyeing the interception. And the field goal unit comes out for Brian Kelly.
And Mason Taylor's trying to start this inside and then work away. You see how he put that right foot in the ground, and he's trying to break it to the outside, but because of the pass rush, Nussmeier throws it way earlier than he should have, and him and Taylor weren't on the same page. If he throws that ball out towards the sideline, you have a chance for Taylor to tight turn and make
defeated team in the SEC. That's overall. They've not suffered a loss yet this season. Oregon and Ohio State back and forth. Georgia and Alabama both winners. Tennessee leading. Ulysses Bentley broke free for a 50-yard touchdown on a 4th down and short play in the first half. Nearly busted that one as well. He got 12 there. He's in more rushing yards tonight than he had all season coming in. That time he got dropped for a loss with Gio Paez leading the way. He transferred from Wisconsin. Swinson in there as well. Jackson Dart, after the play fake to Bentley, threw it out to him in the flat. And he's tackled by Weeks with help up top from his fellow linebacker Penn, and Zy Alexander also there. 3rd down and 7.
Opportunity here in the slot.
Dart throws, has his receiver open, a juggling catch made by Caden Lee. 1st down, they're inside the 30-yard line, a gain of 27.
Great recognition by Dart on man coverage with Lee on a safety.
5 catches tonight for Lee, and 5 all of last season as a true freshman. He has another catch. He got buried by Sage Ryan. 8-yard gain. And Nate Caleppo, the left guard, is the injured Ole Miss Rebel. 5:30.
Guard Nate Caleppo limped back to their locker room. I'm told he has cramps and is expected to return. He's going to receive fluids back there, and I'll let you know when he's back out on the field, guys.
All right, Molly, thank you. Still a warm night here. It's cooled down to 73 degrees after it was up around 90. It was blisteringly hot with the sun shining down when the teams arrived here in the middle of the afternoon. Caleb Warren is back in, very experienced senior. Started 44 games for Ole Miss. He's number 54. 2nd and 2. Henry Parrish. 1st down. 18-yard line. There's Blake Baker. He thought his defense would play better with the week off. And they have held their own against one of the best offenses in the country coming in. Dart the fake, and he got hit as he threw it. Deshaun Womack.
And they fake the pitch here, try to get a bootleg. Dart to the other side, but Womack not fooled, and he drops him. The Dart wisely throws it at Priestcorn's ankle.
He's a sophomore from Baltimore out of St. Francis. They're recruiting well. They had a top 10 class last year, and they have one right now that's in the top 3. Does LSU, including the top quarterback prospect in the country. Pressure again. Dart hit as he throws, and it's broken up in the end zone. Major Burns with the pressure. Trey Harris, the intended receiver. Ashton Stamps there.
Well timed on the pressure by Major Burns. Looked like he was going to be out in coverage. He blitzes at the last second and forces the inaccurate throw from Dart.
Dart is tough. He takes a lot of hits. They're 9 out of 15 on 3rd down. Battling a lot of noise from the 102,000. Pressure again. Dart in trouble. He got plastered and threw it away. Ashton Stamps came on a corner blitz. Blake Baker with this young defense coming after Jackson Dart.
And really nicely done. Well timed. Parrish sees it, but it's a little bit late. His eyes are inside him initially, and Parrish has improved so much as a pass protector, but that's now twice where Jackson Dart has gotten hit because his running back was not more aggressive in pass pro. That's just poor execution, but a great call by Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator.
Holds Ole Miss to a field goal try from Caden Davis. 35-yard attempt. Made one from 49, missed earlier from 32, and hooks that one in. And the lead 7 for Ole Miss with 4:41 to go in the 3rd quarter. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, time now for our Chick-fil-A move on the field. Oregon brought Dylan Gabriel to Eugene for plays like this. The mobile quarterback goes 27 yards to the house, and number 3 Oregon taking back the lead against number 2 Ohio State, 29-28. Back to you, Greg and Molly.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Great action all around college football today, including here in Baton Rouge. Brian Kelly, year 3 is typically where his teams have made their move in his prior coaching spots. Of course, had the long run at Grand Valley State, D2 powerhouse, 13 years there, won a couple of national championships. Moved on to Central Michigan, year 3, won the MAC championship. Went on to Cincinnati. In the 3rd year, won 12 games. They went 12-0 before they went to the bowl game. He moved on to Notre Dame, and in year 3 with the Irish, went 12-1 and played Alabama for the national championship. One of the great coaches of this era, all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame. 308 all-time wins on the field. Some have been vacated. He is the winningest active FBS coach on his way to the College Football Hall of Fame when his days are over. Still plenty of energy in Brian Kelly. The kickoff from Davis is a touchback. You mentioned with the vacated wins, 287. That is still #1 among all active coaches and 7th all time. I think vacated wins is kind of a ridiculous concept.
Yeah, did we just forget? Did we just vacate our mind some of those outcomes?
Do you give those wins to the team, the other team that they played?
Exactly.
Even though they lost?
They just disappear.
I mean, they played the game. Find another way to punish people.
I'm with you. He's one of the best in the business.
Very happy here. And still has the touches of his New England background. Was watching the Boston Bruins hockey game the other night. High throw and incomplete. Jackson Dart threw it over the head of his intended receiver Jordan Watkins. Excuse me, Nussmeier threw it over the head of his intended receiver Xavier Thomas, and it was Jaden Kennedy who almost picked it off.
Very close as Kennedy undercut that in-breaking route. Nussmeier gets away with one.
2nd and 10. To the run they go. Josh Williams comes up about a half yard short of the first down. 9-yard run for Williams. Not a lot of action for Caden Durham tonight. You wonder if the toe injury that he suffered 2 weeks ago against South Alabama is limiting him.
I'm sure that's a factor.
He's going to try to play with a special shoe tonight. A little extra support in those toes. Nussmeier, quarterback sneak. 6'2", 200-pounder.
That right there, his 5th carry of the year. So he's not a guy that's used his legs very much. 2 quarterback sneaks, a quarterback draw, and 2 scrambles. And Durham looks on, but he is the spark in this run game. Such an explosive weapon there at running back. So hopefully, if he's not at 100% tonight, he gets there very quickly.
First 2 plays of their last game against South Alabama, he had a 71-yard touchdown catch and an 86-yard run. Long throw intended for Xavier Thomas and broken up. Good recovery by Jaden Kennedy.
Kennedy's been tested, and they've been really pleased. Really started the season playing mostly nickel. They've now moved him to the outside, and that's been significant. Xavier Thomas on the sideline getting looked at yet again. He's now been banged up a couple times tonight.
Nussmeier 3 for his last 12. A lot of down the field throws tonight. Fakes the handoff to Williams, throws it to Williams in the flat. He made a man miss, and that is a big miss. And a first down. TJ Daugherty made the tackle after Chris Paul whiffed.
Just big time there. As Paul misses, it looked like just a little bit. Campbell got just enough of him, and Williams off to the races.
16-yard gain. Williams, powerful run. They lost John Emery, their 60 running back, to a knee injury. He was their leading rusher in the first game of the year against Southern Cal. We have to say Southern Cal or Southern California. They played both USCs. They played Southern California and South Carolina. Nussmeier lobs it up, a flag down. Anderson's jersey was being pulled by John Saunders Jr. There's also a flag back by the line of scrimmage. Behind the line of scrimmage, actually.
There's an RPO. Anytime the quarterback kind of double pumps, you wonder, did one of those linemen maybe sneak a little further downfield? And we'll confer here. So it was very obviously a hold in the back end or a pass interference with the tug of the jersey, but it's just a matter of what the flag in the backfield is for.
There were 2 fouls on the play, both charged on the defense. Personal foul, face mask. Number 5, that penalty will be declined. Personal foul, wasn't a passer. Defense number 2, that penalty will be accepted. Enforced in the previous spot, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Walter Nolan called for the roughing the passer, the transfer from Texas A&M.
Let's take a look. It's an RPO. Nussmeier doesn't like it initially. Has to double pump. Daugherty rolls through, and there is a big. That's late there by Nolan, and Nussmeier sold it just a hair, but Nolan arriving way too late. It's a pretty easy call there by the center judge.
Ball's at the 28. Caden Durham is at running back for the Tigers. Trying to bounce outside. Lowered his head and got what he could. Trey Washington made the tackle, leader of that secondary. Pete Goldingson, one of the smartest players he's ever coached out of Trussville, Alabama.
The running game's been a little bit better for LSU so far. Still lacking kind of that home run hitting potential, with Durham not being at 100% in the lineup right now, but they've got some hard yardage, and it appears like those running backs are finishing forward more than they were in the first half.
2 minutes to go, third quarter. Nussmeier ran away from the pressure. There's Mason Taylor with his first catch of the night. And a short gain to the 24-yard line.
A man coverage from Ole Miss here on 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6 in that vicinity. So find a matchup you like. It's looking like 2-man right now underneath, which would invite some quarterback run.
Can they get close enough to perhaps go for it on 4th down? They're going to go for the end zone. Jump ball out of the back of the end zone. Xavion Thomas had plenty of company in the red shirts of Ole Miss, and Brian Kelly, the field goal team, started on, and now it is going to come on.
And watch, I mean, there's so many guys dropping out just like crazy. Look at this. I mean, the sky parts. Quarterback, run, out the gates, 2-man, take off. I don't care if you run a 10-second 40, you take off against 2-man. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are. When the C parts in front of you go, that time Nussmeier didn't. He flung it in the back, and it was a missed opportunity.
41-yard try, and that one slices back through. So he's 3 out of 4 after that borderline shank moments ago from 46 yards. He's made now from 33, 45, and 41. But it's hard to beat a good team like Ole Miss when you keep kicking field goals.
Yeah, and that's going to kill you. And at some point, you talk to Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator, and at some point, Nussmeier is athletic. He can run. But so far this year, in the first half of the season, he's taken off just 2 times from a drop back spot.
Well, part of that is, they don't have a proven quarterback behind. He's clearly their best quarterback. But Joe Sloan did tell him during the week, we're going to need you to run for 2 or 3 first downs tonight.
And that would have been a perfect example. 2-man. I saw Tom Brady a million times. The second he saw 2-man, guess what? Bought a little time, waited for the O-line to show where it was going to separate and take off. So that's all part of the recognition, and he's still a young quarterback, relatively speaking, as far as snaps played and starts made. But he's going to have to recognize that coverage, because that's just stealing candy from a baby from a quarterback standpoint. Aaron Burrell's kickoff is a touchback. That's redundant.
So what stands out to you now with a minute 10 to go in the third quarter? Ole Miss has not trailed tonight, but again, feels like they should have better control of the game than they've had, and that's kind of been the theme all night long.
It really has, and the run game's been pretty good. I feel like Ole Miss, when the run game's going, man, they're really, really difficult to defend. But for whatever reason, they've shot themselves in the foot multiple times. They get down there near the red zone and the drive stalls, and they just can't quite get a whole lot going on. So I think they still need to commit to the run game and maybe not be quite as aggressive through the air. The intermediate and the underneath stuff is there. Maybe now is the time that you start emphasizing it.
Jackson Dart, 20 out of 30 for 224 yards and a touchdown. He's not thrown a pick. Each team has turned it over once. Ulysses Bentley, more yards rushing tonight than he had all season long, coming in 3-yard gain there. These are the top 2 passers in the SEC and 2 of the top 5 in the country in passing yards, coming in both well below their average. Dart came in at 350 a game, 3rd in the country, and Nussmeier at 330. Bless, they get him again. Major Burns was there, as was Greg Penn. And give Blake Baker credit. He is coming after Jackson Dart, and it is working.
Well, they slide the line all the way down to the left. That's just terrible. And then they rush 2 outside the slide. There's nobody to block Greg Penn, so he drops Dart for his sack. I mean, full slide protection, 2 outside. You can't block it. It's just a great call by Blake Baker and poor execution from Ole Miss's offensive line.
They don't have to snap it again here in the third quarter, and they won't. That's the end of the third quarter. Ole Miss leading by 4. Presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Coach, your defense was getting after Jackson Dart. What is it going to take to win this?
Well, we can't keep kicking field goals, that's for sure, right? We got to get in the end zone, and you know they're playing a lot of coverage. You know, next series, if you know we see that it's that soft, you know, obviously we're going to have to, you know, run the football a little bit more, you know, in the last drive here, you know, in the fourth quarter. But defense is playing great. You know, these are 2 really good football teams. You know, everyone was expecting the offenses, and tonight it's been really good defense on both sides.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Trying to win their 5th in a row, which would match their longest winning streak in 3 seasons under Brian Kelly. 3rd down and 15, Ole Miss. Dart throws, caught! A huge conversion and a big night for Caden Lee. $18 yards for Lee. And he's on the verge of a 100-yard receiving night. Career high in catches. Henry Parrish. Short gain. That was a huge 3rd down and 15 conversion by the Rebels.
Massive. Just absolutely massive. And Lee is really crafty as a route runner. So difficult to defend.
Parrish Shand is the injured LSU Tiger. Senior, 2nd year here after 3 at the University of Arizona. He's a Canadian from Toronto. Backup defensive end. And what a 3rd down and 15. Dart to Lee.
Just beautiful execution, too. Well-timed, good protection up front. Savion Jones is coming inside, but because of the timing of the throw and the immediate separation by Lee working against Woodland, the progressive pylon cam shows you that separation and a nice pitch and catch and a terrific conversion.
Lee's a sophomore. If he has another catch, could have 2 100-yard receivers tonight. Trey Harris already up to 102. Shand walks off. You know, both coaches made the point we were talking about feigning injuries yesterday. You know, it used to be in football, be tough. If you're injured, get up, get off the field no matter what. Nick Saban talked this morning about he went off the field with a broken leg one time. But that's really not the way anymore. If you're injured, stay down. And both teams deserve credit tonight. There's been no blizzard of fake injuries. Henry Parrish driven back by Whit Weeks. No gain on the play. Here's another Ole Miss third down.
The coverage of the day for LSU has been man coverage, and they have really not had much of an answer for the outstanding slot receiver, Caden Lee. He's up top. Let's see if they find him, maybe motion Lee in just a little bit to create a little bit of separation and maybe get him running. It's looking like man coverage again from Blake Baker's defense.
You can read his lips. Spy. We'll keep an eye on Jackson Dart. And finally a whistle to stop the play. LSU called that timeout. The SEC on ABC from Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Number 9 Ole Miss leading number 13 LSU 20-16. Third down and 7 for Jackson Dart. And the Rebels with a 4-point lead. He's 8 out of 9 on third down tonight. As a team, they're 10 for 17 in third down conversion.
There's a pressure look coming off the right side. Be careful if you're Jackson Dart.
Quick slant and a big tackle to take down Jordan Watkins. Ashton Stamps stopped him short of the first down. They're lined up as if they're going to go for this 4th and 2.
In comes, looks like Pegues. Had no answer for him earlier on the short yardage. Analytics supports the decision. He's such a strong, powerful runner. Let's see if big number 38 gets a look here.
Shea Harris not on the field. Bothered by a lower leg injury. Suffered last week. Limited in practice this week. They have Pegues in the pistol behind Dart. They faked it to him. Dart throws. Man wide open. It's Lee again. What a night for Caden Lee. And they stopped him at the 20. Great call by Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin.
Just outstanding execution there by Ole Miss.
8 catches, 129 yards for the sophomore from Kennesaw, Georgia. Caden Lee. First and 10 at the 20-yard line of LSU. Darts up to 281 yards passing. Bentley breaks free from a tackle. There's a flag down. He got loose for Major Burns. And then Sage Ryan made the stop. There is a flag thrown.
Holding offensive rating 6. 10-yard penalty in the previous spot. It'll be first down.
Caden Priestcorn, the tight end, transfer from Memphis. His second year at Ole Miss. 8 penalties for the Rebels for 80 yards.
Another really big one, too. I mean, all the momentum on the side of the Rebels after the 4th down conversion. Now they're backed up. They try to get half of it back. They do a great job with the short passing game. See if they can get it back to 2nd and 10.
8th play of the drive. A lot of maneuvering on both sides. The play clock's down to 2. He didn't get it off.
Player game. Offense.
So unusual with as fast as they go.
Go back to the hold on Priestcorn a moment ago. He's engaged on the left side with number 9 Swinson. And as Bentley breaks to the outside, Priestcorn holds that jersey, and a good call by the official.
Ole Miss in reverse. They're back at the 35. 1st and 25. Lots of time for Dart into a crowd and intercepted by Zy Alexander. lots of white shirts there, plenty of red shirts, but it wound up in the hands of Alexander. His 13th career interception. 4th at LSU. He had 9 at Southeastern Louisiana. 11 minutes to go. Ole Miss up.
Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Taco Bell.
Defense coordinator Blake Baker finally said enough is enough. We're double covering Lee. He's too good. 1, 2. They bracket Lee with both defenders. And he wins initially. They inside out him. And he's able to get behind the defense. But Dart's late. That ball's got to go. Instead, because he's late, he runs out of room out of the back of the end zone, underthrows it a little bit. And Alexander's able to make the play. Just a bad throw by Dart. Got to get that ball up and down quicker, but a good call by Baker.
Alexander, a difference maker in that young secondary. He's a veteran. He missed a couple of games this year, and they really missed him. Nussmeier given a lot of time, and that's up for grabs and picked off. Trey Amos takes it right back. A crucial mistake by Garrett Nussmeier. Trying to get it to Kyron Lacey, and that wasn't close.
And big Walter Nolan, been quiet tonight. His presence was felt on this throw, though. I mean, he beats the offensive lineman inside. He forces Nussmeier to kind of throw it off his back foot, can't get nearly enough power on the football. It's severely underthrown, and Amos is right there to make the play. Just a relentless rush there from Walter Nolan, and a bad throw and decision by Nussmeier.
Amos' 2nd interception of the year. Each team has turned it over twice. 1 turnover for each team on successive plays. So Ole Miss back in business with just under 11 minutes to go, leading by 4. They have not trailed tonight. They've twice led by 10. And that one incomplete off the hands of Caden Lee. Here's Molly.
Sean, I'm told Ole Miss wide receiver Trey Harris was injured at the end of the 3rd quarter. He was in their injury tent. You could hear him yell in frustration. He came out of the tent, slammed his helmet, and kept pointing to his right hip area. I'm told he's questionable to return. I'm told it is not related to his right ankle injury. It is a new injury for Harris.
As a result, Caden Lee has been the focus, and he's had a career night. Although Harris, while he played, had more than 100 yards receiving. Dart's pass tipped and flutters incomplete. In the general direction of Juice Wells, who hasn't been involved at all tonight. 2nd target, if you can call it that, on the flutter ball, and no catches for Antoine Juice Wells. The 19th 3rd down of the night for Ole Miss. They've converted 10 of the previous 18. Pressure, and down goes Dart again. With the 5th sack of the night. Braden Swinson with this one for LSU.
And he just goes right around Diego Pounds, the left tackle. Just a tough spot for Diego Pounds. Dart tries to flush, but Swinson, way too active and quick. He drops him for a huge stack on 3rd down.
9-yard loss. Frazier Mazin, the punter. Xavion Thomas, fair catch, and the ball takes him out of bounds near the 15-yard line. Excellent punt by Mazin. 55 yards and no return for the dangerous Thomas. So 2 top 10 matchups in the SEC next week. And we think they will both be top 10 matchups since both Alabama and Tennessee survived today. Tennessee just beat Florida in overtime. They're at 3:30 on ABC, followed by Georgia and Texas. Both easy winners today. Game day will be in Austin. For the #1 Longhorns and #5 Georgia. Caden Durham stopped for no gain. Chris Paul and J.J. Pegues.
This defense has been very stout tonight. Chris Paul and these linebackers, Daughtery, They've been all over the place. The run game for LSU as a result really has led to absolutely nothing. They've been outstanding up front against an elite offensive line.
LSU's rush for just 54 yards. There's some running room for Caden Durham. He got 7. Chris Paul made another tackle. 9:20 to go, and here's a big third down for the Tigers. 3rd and 3. 4 out of 11 on third down is LSU tonight.
And Ole Miss has been playing a lot of man covers tonight against LSU, and there have been opportunities to run the football on third down, especially with quarterback run. Now, that's not part of Nussmeier's arsenal, or at least it hasn't been to this point, but he's got to think about it at some point.
LSU defense crowding the middle. Nussmeier caught. First down to the 39. Flag down back behind the line of scrimmage. Lacey the catch. Amos the tackle. The center judge threw the flag. 17-yard gain.
Two fouls, both on the offense. Illegal formation. More than 4 players lined up in the backfield. That penalty will be declined. Holding on the offense, number 50. That penalty will be enforced in the previous spot. 10 yards.
Emory Jones Jr., the right tackle.
And he's going to be working with Nolan, who engages coming from the inside out. Nolan almost breaks free, but you see the left hand of Emory Jones grabbing the shoulder of Nolan. Now that's consecutive drives where Nolan has just completely devastated the LSU offensive line, and another 3rd and long for Garrett Nussmeier.
Third down and 13. 5th LSU penalty. That one's a big one. They're back on their own 12. We brought pressure. It was picked up. Now he's running out of time. Now he takes off running. Now he has the first down. Well, they told us he could run. And he did. Got just enough. He got 14 when they needed 13.
And it's so good. It's just improvement. Look at this. I mean, just go. Take off. And he does. Finally, LSU hasn't had any scrambles. They get one there.
Durham swung down for no gain.
This is a terrific pass rush, and they are so good and so disciplined. So when they get out of position, you got to make them pay. And there have been many times tonight where Nussmeier hasn't been willing to take off. That time he does, and is rewarded with a huge conversion.
More than midway through the 4th quarter now. 4-point lead for Ole Miss. All day to throw. Takes the check down. Durham stayed on his feet. Chris Paul didn't think so. He said something to the official. Nussmeier's tying the line up. I think he wants to snap it before they can replay it and see if Durham was actually down. It's a 13-yard gain.
I don't blame him. It looked like those knees were really close.
Yeah, the officials aren't going to let them get away with that. And Xavier Harris. And the torn to booze.
We'll see. I mean, they were going to review it anyways. Let's see if that left knee is down. Ooh,
tough
man.
to tell.
He might have saved it. We'll see.
Well, they're going to take a look at it. We'll be back in just a moment. And on the sideline, they were aware of the controversies, but when they needed it, they went back to the fake injury. J.J. Pegues, that is a free ball, at least for the moment. Jared Ivey has the ball, and the officials are saying it is Ole Miss ball at the 20-yard line.
Pegues working around the right tackle. Ooh, it's very, very close. Is the hand moving forward? The hand right there, it looks like it's beginning to move forward.
Or was the ball stripped off his fingertips right before it was?
Right there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think his arm is coming forward.
I think so too.
And undoubtedly they'll take a look at this as well. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Sean, I agree with you and Greg. I do think the hand just started forward with control before it was knocked away by the Ole Miss player. So I would expect this to be overturned to a pass.
Very close too, and a great rush by Pegues off the right side.
The ball was knocked out of the quarterback's hand prior to his hand moving forward. Therefore, it was a fumble recovered by the defense. That previous play is under review.
John Allman is earning his money in the replay booth tonight.
All of them have been difficult too. It's not like there have been a lot that have been clear cut. Dating back to the targeting situation, to a catch, no catch, to a moment ago. The only one that was clear was the fumble at the end of half by Parrish.
Well, no matter what, Pegues is a force on both sides of the ball. What a player he is.
Terrific athlete, man. So fun to watch. I love watching that guy play.
And they have harassed Garrett Nussmeier without Princely Umanmielen, who was questionable coming in with an ankle injury. Didn't play last week at South Carolina. And we cannot recall having seen him play at all. So I guess the fake injury thing is just in emergency situations.
Right. Well,
we're aware that it's a bad look and the rule book says it's unethical, and we've talked to our team about it. But
we need those 13 yards back on that potential.
The quarterback's hand was moving forward before it was knocked out of his hand. Therefore, it's an incomplete pass. It'll be fourth down to the 26-yard line.
Well, either way, Ole Miss is going to get the ball back, but they won't get it back deep in LSU territory unless they get a big punt return.
Very fortunate there too, because that was very close, and this offensive line has held up pretty well for the most part here in the second half in protection, but that time very dangerous.
Micah Davis standing at his own 30-yard line. Peyton Todd is the punter. Fourth down and 10. They're waiting for another man to come on. Paris Shand, part of the protective shield. Short tumbling punt, a sliding catch made by Davis. Then he got hit by his own man. Dangerous play by Davis. 37-yard punt. There's a flag down back near midfield. Ken Williamson is going to be hoarse when this is over.
Clearing the kick, holding, receiving team number 20. The penalty enforced 10 yards for the end of the kick. First down.
Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, how about this finish? Closing seconds in Eugene, Oregon, up 32-31. Ohio State out of field goal range after a penalty. Will Howard, they have a timeout. Will Howard on third and long slides as time runs out. And the Ducks survive, knocking off the Buckeyes 32-31. Back to you and Greg.
Wow. What a game. What a day of college football. 10 penalties here now against Ole Miss. That's been a problem throughout the season. 95 yards in penalties. Jackson Dart after the fake. Out to the 43. What a baller he is. 16 yards on the run.
Been pretty quiet too with his legs. I mean, he hasn't had a lot of room to run and makes a big play there.
Caden Lee flagged down again. Weeks swung him down. If it stands, it's the 9th catch for Lee.
They potentially get a horse collar here too. That's a possibility there by Weeks.
Personal foul, post collar tackle, defense number 40. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, includes an automatic first down.
Lee is so good tonight. I mean, if you're going to find an MVP, he might be it for the Rebels. And Weeks' hand getting inside the collar of his jersey and throws him to the ground. The official's 2 yards away. Very easy call, and Ole Miss with a couple of plays, and now they're knocking on the door of field goal range.
Six LSU penalties. Still 5:40 to go. Dart calls his own number again. Jackson Dart inside the 25 with another first down. Upended by Zy Alexander. 16 yards on the gallop for Dart.
And just great job. Counter action here. Dart is able to get a nice fake, ride it, and then roll. The safety, Major Burns, too far outside. Dart's able to crease it right up the middle. A similar play that they just ran on the drive start a moment ago. So clearly they found something with the numbers on quarterback counter.
And with the lead and under 5 minutes to go, they're taking their time. They're still in the huddle. With the play clock now at 4. Critical for LSU. They hold this to a field goal try. Dart, a short gain. Ahmad Bro, true freshman defensive tackle, in on the stop. They lost their starting defensive tackle, Jacobian Guillory, to an Achilles injury during the second game of the year. So Bro's another true freshman who's had to play a lot. They've been pleased with him. Again, no hurry for Ole Miss. They're used to snapping it quickly, but with the lead, they take the play clock down to 6. Dart, end zone, over the head of Juice Wells with Zy Alexander in coverage. Boy, it's surprising how quiet Wells has been, especially without Trey Harris for much of this fourth quarter. All of the fourth quarter, really.
It's really been the Caden Lee show, and understandably so. Here, you get man coverage again. 3rd and 9. That's a man-to-man coverage for Blake Baker. That's normally where he's at. I'm looking my best route runner. My best route runner right now lives in the slot. And if I can get him matched up with the safety, I'm taking that matchup all day long.
Bentley bounces outside and gets stopped short of the first down by Jordan Gilbert. Transfer from Texas A&M. 4th down and 6. A field goal makes it a 7-point lead. Lane Kiffin relies on the analytics, and he's going to kick a field goal.
Hard to
And
argue.
the ESPN analytics say kick.
Hard to argue with that. I think it's the right call, too. I mean, good drive. Get something to show for it.
37-yard attempt. He's 2 out of 3. Missed a shorty earlier in the game, but has bounced back nicely, and that one is crushed. That would have been good from a very long distance. It's a 7-point game, but again, the LSU defense, coordinated by Blake Baker, Will Muschamp disciple. Started out as a graduate assistant at Texas for Will Muschamp. He has to be pleased, Greg. You know, this is a defense that is young in many places, particularly in the secondary. Looks like that a week off was a benefit for this coaching staff and this defense.
Big time. And they had an identity early in the season. I mean, it really was about their defensive ends, and they kind of went as the defensive ends went. And then the linebackers got more comfortable. Weeks has become a star. I mean, that's what he is. And then today, against a really good wide receiver core, I feel like the secondary has played pretty decent. They got burned early. A couple big plays given up, but they've settled in, and they've had a lot of contested catches from Ole Miss, which, hey, sometimes when you got talent like that at wide receiver, they're going to win some. So I think Baker's got to be happy, too, and also opportunistic. They've turned him over a couple times as well.
So Davis will kick off, likely to be a touchback, and he wants it to be with the dangerous Xavion Thomas back there. Yeah, that's a bomb. Time for our player check-in presented by Allstate.
Nussmeier's been really solid today. He's done a really good job. He sees that safety cut the shallow cross, which means there's nobody home over the top. He throws it. That's 3rd and short. They're not thinking a deep ball on 3rd and short. He hits it. Done a really nice job also staying in the pocket. Throwback here. A really good job by his running back, making the guy miss and getting some extra yardage. So Nussmeier, he hasn't been perfect tonight, but he's done the things needed to do. The interceptions are definitely a big mistake, but he's used his legs, has been pretty accurate.
They've really had only one sustained drive, 75 yards. Their only touchdown of the night. He's going deep. He has Lacey open, and he missed him. Just a bit too long and a bit too close to the sideline. Wanted to make sure he didn't throw it up for grabs to throw his 3rd interception of the night.
He's been really aggressive tonight, too. I mean, at some point, they're going to need to develop the underneath passing attack, because it feels like almost every single throw tonight has been 10, 15, 20 yards downfield, and that's just not sustainable against a defense like this.
Especially without somebody who's really the home run threat. They think Chris Hilton Jr. will be that when he's healthy. Caden Durham on 2nd and 10. That doesn't do them much good. A 3-yard gain. The clock's running. 2 timeouts for each team and the 2-minute stoppage. You have to think for Joe Sloan calling the plays, this is 4 downs all the way for the rest of the game.
No doubt about it. It's really about matchups. You anticipate man coverage here from Ole Miss. So where's your best matchup? I think it's a tight end with Mason Taylor. See if you can find him working against the linebacker, because if you have that, it's all day long.
Nussmeier flushed off his back foot, throws it away. And now what do you do if you're Brian Kelly? 2 timeouts and the 2-minute stoppage. 4th down and 7 on your own 28-yard line.
You saw Kentucky in a similar situation, 4th and 8 on their own 20, go for it and hit it, and that's really what won them the game. Man, the way LSU's defense is playing, this is a big roll of the dice. He must trust his quarterback and really like what they have dialed up.
For all intents and purposes, this is the game right here. 4th and 7, 2:22 to go. Ole Miss up by a touchdown. 3-man rush all to the right of Nussmeier, and he's on target. Mason Taylor's 3rd catch. He had 2 grabs for no yards before that one. What a time to emerge.
Big time. And man coverage again. Nussmeier finds that matchup. Thought it'd come a play earlier. That time he hits him for a big conversion.
Strange rush as well. That's the 2-minute stoppage. Looked like they rushed 3, and they were all to Nussmeier's right of center. Right on target when they had to have it. 2-minute stoppage. 7-point lead for Ole Miss. In this Magnolia Bowl rivalry, Ole Miss has won 2 of the last 3, both in Oxford, including the shootout last year, but LSU's won 7 straight here at home. Rebels haven't won here since 2008. 7-point lead for the Rebels with 2 minutes to go. Garrett Nussmeier has to take them all the way to the end zone. Throws on the run, incomplete, low throw. Trying to get it to Kyron Lacey. I think the crowd's with you. You could hear the groaning. They saw some running room, and they are disappointed that Nussmeier didn't take off running.
Lots of running room, and tried to get a little underneath route to Anderson, and it just was pretty well covered. But man, when it's not there, just take off, or at least threaten the line of scrimmage, and don't throw it 6-7 yards behind it.
Well, many more down the field throws than usual from Nussmeier at LSU. Pete Golding brought pressure, and that throw caught at the 38-yard line. Aaron Anderson for 18 yards.
You need to be in a huge hurry if you're Nussmeier, and LSU's offense just continue to be methodical.
Have to take it to the end zone. Field goal really does them no good now. They're at the 39-yard line of Ole Miss.
The previous play is under review.
Man, it was a really nice route by Anderson. Ball was thrown, high point, reels it in. So athletic. And you see that ball start to move a little bit as he's going to the ground. Does he have possession before?
Let's bring in Matt Austin.
To answer your question, Greg, no, I don't think he had control. And since he is a player that's going to the ground to make the catch, he's got to survive the ground, and he did not. So I think they're going to wipe this off as an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, clearly on the way to the ground. Has it in his possession right there, but has to survive it all the way through. And with the ball constantly moving, if you grab it there, it's no problem. But that ball's still on the move, and then you secure it, but you're a yard and a half out of bounds. So I think this will be overturned.
Yep.
But
when the pen comes out, as we learned tonight, bad news if you're the team who got the call on the field.
Might need to get another pen, though. He's probably running a little low on ink.
Yeah, more paper as well.
Exactly. That's, I mean, note card number 7 there for this officiating crew. I will admit, I mean, they've gotten them all right, though. It's been...
Yeah, I guess it was John Allman in the replay booth who was alert to that, because, you know, from up here we didn't see that live, and didn't look like there was much jumping up and down by the Ole Miss folks either. But that's going to be a huge overturn call, we think.
And the chain's already on the move on the far side.
After further review, the receiver did not maintain possession as he hit the ground. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. He's going down at the 33-yard line, 3rd and 10. Please put 1:46 on the clock, please.
We're going to put 10 seconds back on the clock. Nussmeier just 18 for 44. As we mentioned earlier, many more down the field throws, more passes of 20+ yards in the air than he's ever thrown in a game before. Caden Durham is the running back on 3rd down and 10. Nussmeier flushed, running for his life. Throws, caught! And there goes Taylor! They're ruling him down! They're ruling him down! Crowd doesn't know it. He went all the way down to the end zone. But they've whistled him down back near the 38-yard line. It is 19 yards and a first down. Suntaran Perkins put the pressure on, but couldn't get Nussmeier down. Wow, was he down?
Looked like that left elbow did, in fact, go down to the ground. Just an unbelievable play by Taylor. Watch the left elbow here. Boom, down right there. Good call by the official, but how about the play by Garrett Nussmeier to extend and buy time? And then Taylor wisely coming back to his quarterback, making that throw a little more manageable and reeling it in for a big first down.
Fans are booing. They didn't think Taylor was down, but his elbow did hit the ground, no question. The clock's running. Down to 1:05 to go. They're taking a long time to snap this. Nussmeier stutter steps and throws it away. But they used a lot of clock. They used the entire play clock with the clock running, the game clock running.
I have to wonder there if after the jubilation of the conversion, if Nussmeier maybe lost track of the fact that that clock was running. So give him that reminder, make sure he's mindful of that, and play with just a touch more urgency on the next few plays.
.57 seconds to go, 2nd and 10. Durham, the running back. Taylor's open. catches it, goes out of bounds near the sticks. It looks like he has the first down. Trey Amos took him across the boundary. Taylor not a factor most of the night, but all of a sudden he's up to 5 catches. That one's good for 10. It is a first down, the fresh set of downs. 50 seconds, 2 timeouts for each team.
And Nussmeier needs to continue to look in his direction. Right now, Ole Miss and Pete Golding, they've been running a lot of man coverage. And what beats man? Tight ends and backs out on routes. So keep looking in that direction if you get man coverage. You got it here.
Play of the drive. 5-man rush. Nussmeier to the end zone. Just a stride too long for Xavion Thomas. Hard to overthrow him with his speed. Trey Washington back there for Ole Miss. 45 seconds to go. And the defense has to be a little bit tired. All Jackson Dart can do is watch. They do make 1 substitution on defense. Garrett Nussmeier given a pocket, and that one thrown up for grabs. Intended for Shelton Sampson. Interesting target at this juncture. He's a redshirt freshman who's never caught a ball. Last year or this year. But down the depth chart with injuries at wide receiver. 3rd down and 10. 6 out of 15. Brian Kelly's team on 3rd down tonight. An obvious 4-down territory. Josh Williams, the running back. They try to surprise Ole Miss with the run. He did well to get to the 23. Now they'll have to use one of their timeouts. What do you think of that call?
I'm okay with it. There's 2 high safeties. It's 2-man. Man coverage underneath, 2 high safeties back. You should have plenty of room. But Williams didn't really get the exchange very clean. He didn't look like he ever had a chance to kind of break to the outside where there was a little room.
Yeah. So it's 4th and 5. 32 seconds to go. You have to have it or it's ball game over. I would think Mason Taylor would be man number 1 here for Garrett Nussmeier if he can get open.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing too, what does Pete Golding do? I might get up there. I have another timeout if I'm LSU. I might get up there, have my blitz beater called, and then call timeout if it doesn't look like blitz. This might be a situation, if you are LSU, where you maybe go with a hard count too, because it's 4th and 5. Them jumping in the neutral zone could give you an automatic first down without having to snap it, and might give you a chance to get a free play. So I think I'd maybe be wise and maybe think about taking that timeout if necessary.
That's Jared Ivey who's going off. He's one of their starting defensive ends. The other, Princely Umanmielen, hasn't played tonight. So they're without both starting edge rushers for this critical 4th down. Here's the game, 4th and 5. If they don't convert, it's over. 32 seconds to go. Ole Miss leading by a touchdown. Trying to get to 6 and 1. Williams is the running back. 4 receivers, 2 to each side. They send Williams out as a receiver. Garrett Nussmeier to the end zone. Touchdown! Aaron Anderson. Kelly's going to kick the extra point and try to get it to overtime.
And what a throw by Nussmeier. He's releasing it right now. And look at the receiver. He's not open yet, but he will be. He anticipates the throw. It's perfect on the mark where Anderson reels it in for a potential game-tying touchdown.
Had a chance to go for 2 and perhaps the win. Instead, it's Ramos who's made 112 straight PATs. And they have tied it at 23 with 27 seconds to go. 2 timeouts for Jackson Dart. You like the decision? Let's go back to the touchdown first.
I mean, the throw is just a thing of beauty. Absolute perfection. With the anticipation, the beginning of the show told you how comfortable Nussmeier was in this offense, operating in this offense, anticipating throws, making tight window throws, and he does it there. The biggest snap of the season for the Bayou Bengals, and he threads the needle as Lane Kiffin can only look on and start thinking about his 2-minute drive that they're going to have to put together to potentially steal this one on the road.
Trey Harris is not in uniform anymore, so they won't have him for these final 27 seconds or overtime. You like the decision to kick?
I'd go for 2. I think back to when Brian Kelly got this job a couple years ago against Alabama. They go for 2. They put the game in their offense's hands. They win the game on the field. The longer this game goes, I think Ole Miss's talent advantage in some spots might take over.
Burrell, who's a touchback machine, they decide to squib it. And Ole Miss will benefit with about 5 yards of extra field position on the return by Micah Davis out to the 30-yard line. Caden Davis, their kicker, has a very big leg. His career long is 56. That was last season at Tulane. Do you think they'll be aggressive here, or do you think they'll play for overtime?
No, I think they'll be aggressive. That's what I anticipate. I think Lane Kiffin trusts Jackson Dart so much. So maybe they handle it in the first place, see if they crease it, and then get going. But I think they go for it.
He takes off running. It is a handoff to Bentley. He got rocked at the 38-yard line, and Lane Kiffin will use a timeout. Major Burns and Braden Swinson. So 13 seconds, 1 timeout for each team. Lane Kiffin is involved in the play calling. Typically it's Charlie Weiss Jr., who Lane calls Boy Wonder, calls the plays, and then Lane will also get into the helmet of the quarterback, perhaps at the end, just with a reminder or 2 about a game situation, that sort of thing.
And a good opportunity here in this timeout to remind all your receivers and everybody of the technique that you're going to need to use. You know the line to gain right now. You say, all right, we got to get to the 41-yard line to give our kicker a chance. You get there, you go down. You don't fight for extra yards. You have high and tight. You go down so we can call that timeout and try to kick one at the buzzer. So a good opportunity to go through the mechanics of the get down situation.
They shift the tight end Priestcorn to the right, 2 receivers to each side. Bentley is the running back. On 2nd down, no pressure. Dart throws, broken up. Intended for Caden Lee. P.J. Woodland, a true freshman from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, broke it up. Down to 7 seconds to go. And realistically, as you see with the field goal line, they need to get close to the LSU 40 to set up a try for Davis.
And if I'm Blake Baker, I'd play picket fence coverage where I just have all my defenders around the 45-yard line, knowing the 63-yard ain't going to happen.
And a timeout was called by LSU before the snap, their last one.
All right, snap. Timeout. LSU. Third quarter timeout of that. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So many twists and turns. You know, when you look back at this game, and these coaches do, look at the film, there are going to be so many plays that were all important to how we got to this point. Plays made, plays not made, and it's turned out to be a classic.
It has been a war from start to finish. I mean, line of scrimmage, great acrobatic plays by wide receivers. Unfortunately, that receiver, Trey Harris, unavailable to go here down the stretch for Ole Miss. But guys have stepped up when their number's been called. It's just been a fantastic football game from start to finish.
Now time ran off the clock. It was at 7 seconds. I would think they would put that back since LSU called the timeout before the snap. Since Lane Kiffin's been in Oxford, they've had the best offense in the country in terms of total offense per game. Throughout his tenure there, 507 yards of offense per game. He knows what he's doing. They have 461 tonight. They did put the clock back to 7. So they could catch the ball in the field of play and use that last timeout. Third down and 2. They are 10 out of 20. So many third down plays tonight. LSU is 6 out of 16. Three receivers to the left of Dart. Bentley's the running back. They give it to Bentley. He slides down, but he's short of field goal range. Well, they used the timeout, and now it has to be a Hail Mary, Greg.
Yeah.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
And we're at the 4-hour mark.
It's been a thrill ride from the start.
And we're destined for more, barring a miracle. And in this Magnolia Bowl, you don't rule anything out.
Please put 3 seconds in the game clock. 3 seconds.
Going to add 1 second. Probably won't make any difference.
Thank you.
Now, do you think Dart has the arm to get it to the end zone? It's probably going to take close to a 60-yard throw in the air.
I think he's got enough to get it to the front of the end zone. The big thing when throwing a Hail Mary from this part of the field is you have to buy time, because you think these receivers are 4-4 or so in the 40. That means you're going to need to buy about 5 seconds and change for them to get down around the goal line. So you have to buy some time and hope your O-line holds up.
They have Deshaun Spears back near the goal line. They're going to run another safety back there with him as well. Last play of regulation, and it's Weeks with the sack. Slams down Dart to put the punctuation on regulation time. The 6th sack for this LSU defense. Whit Weeks, when we visited yesterday, said we've had the best week of practice we've had all season long. I know our defense is going to be better than we've been, and they've been that tonight. To overtime we go, tied at 23. We thank Reese Davis for the refresher on the overtime rules. Overtime presented by Cheez-It. Garrett Nussmeier with a late touchdown pass. Darren Anderson to force just the 3rd overtime game in series history. The last was in 1998, an Ole Miss win. The last actually was an LSU win in 2006. The first was in '98. J.J. Pegues the call.
He said that way. He said that way.
The referee, unfortunately, did not open his mic.
So Pegues actually, for a moment, mistakenly point towards the LSU student section. I played in an overtime game here in 2008, and LSU always wants to have overtime on the end zone to the left from the 50-yard line. That's where their band is. That's where their loudest part of the field is. So
they're going to the other end.
Even though they're almost on offense, it's big to be on the other side where it's not quite as loud and a little bit more friendly with a lot of red, white, and blue.
Well, I wish we could hear what actually transpired there. As we said, Ken Williamson didn't open up his mic. Ordinarily, you choose to go on defense first. It looked like Nussmeier had the choice. And they are on defense first. Then you know what you have to do and you get the ball. One of the reasons I thought Craig, that Brian Kelly might go for 2. I think in this format where you start from the 25, it helps to have a running quarterback like Jackson Dart. To me, that's an advantage for Ole Miss that LSU doesn't have.
A huge advantage, and LSU has at times this year struggled in the red zone scoring touchdowns.
So Henry Parrish limped off on the last play of regulation. Bentley's seen a lot of action tonight. He starts at running back. They try to get his speed outside. There's a flag thrown by the center judge. Whit Weeks, who had 18 tackles in regulation, a career high, and the sack to end regulation, made another stop. It was thrown where you would expect a holding call.
Holding, offense number 56.
Wow. Reese McIntyre, the center.
And he's working against Parrish. Shan, number 0, from right to left. Shan goes upfield, and you see McIntyre grab that jersey, that left shoulder pad, and it's an easy call there on the inside and has Ole Miss behind the sticks.
McIntyre's 55th career game, just his 11th start. He's been a backup until this year. Big penalty. They are still in field goal range. First and 20. They're confused. The play clock's at 3. Jackson Dart, single coverage, and it's dropped. Juice Wells, who's been a total non-factor tonight, turned back to the ball, and it didn't look like Zy Alexander was in great position.
He timed it well on the underthrown deep ball, but his momentum just carried him too far upfield, and he can't get his arms out far enough to potentially reel it in.
Alexander was actually in good position, had his arm in there to break it up. They've targeted Wells 4 times. He does not have a catch tonight. 2nd and 20. We're in overtime. And a timeout called by Lane Kiffin. They're out of sorts here. The 6 sacks of Jackson Dart are the most in his Ole Miss career. 3rd year as a starter. His 32nd career start tonight. The previous most, he had been sacked 5 by Alabama last year. And again, the story of the night, the much improved LSU defense taking advantage of that bye week, the experience with a young team.
And another example of where Ole Miss, where they were supposed to be different this year, was along both lines of scrimmage. They definitely are on defense, but along the offensive line, they have still had their hands full against elite defensive fronts. And while LSU's not elite, they're well on their way with those 2 edge defenders, Savion Jones and Braden Swinson.
Ole Miss playing without its leading receiver, Trey Harris, the nation's leading receiver, and playing without their leading running back, Henry Parrish. They're in the pistol with Ulysses Bentley, the running back.
LSU with that alignment just begging them to run the football.
Oh, movement and a false start against Ole Miss. They are completely out of whack right now.
False start.
McIntyre, the center, is called for the hold a moment ago.
He's right in the middle. I mean, they're over the ball forever.
Well, he flinched on the snap. He started to snap and then didn't. 12 Rebel penalties for 110 yards. LSU's been flagged 6 times. Jackson Dart had to get rid of it. Up for grabs and batted away. Jordan Gilbert knocked it down. Daquan Wright, a tight end, was the intended receiver. They said they could split him out as a wide receiver tonight. Double coverage. It was Whit Weeks who's been all over the field. I'll make a guess right now he'll be the SEC Defensive Player of the Week, no matter how this turns out.
If he's not, something's wrong. He's been incredible.
They are borderline at best field goal range. This will be 1 yard longer than Davis's career long. Only a 3-man rush for Dart. And he throws, and it's broken up by Zy Alexander. Intended for Caden Lee. Well, when we visited with Lane Kiffin early in the year, he talked about Caden Davis has a huge leg. He's the touchback machine. This would be a career long in a 5-year career. 2 here at Ole Miss, 3 prior to that at A&M, where he was really exclusively the kickoff man. Made a 56-yarder last year at Tulane. This would be 57. The wind not a factor. He's made 3 and missed 1 tonight. That is good. Wow, what a kick. Caden Davis from 57 yards. What will happen next in this one?
From the logo, he kicks it end over end. Plenty of distance inside that right upright with plenty of room to spare.
That did not just sneak over the crossbar.
Wow. That thing went through halfway up the upright. Just an incredible kick by Davis. Sigh of relief from Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin wasn't looking very good. It's just crazy how great these kickers are all around college football. But now a touchdown to win for LSU, which has not had the lead tonight. Nussmeier's 21 out of 50. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Josh Williams, the running back. Tyron Lacey, the motion man. Pump fake, Nussmeier goes back shoulder. Touchdown! Tyron Lacey! And LSU wins! A shake of the head from Lane Kiffin, realizing what a football game this was. What a win for LSU.